Oh, hey bitch. Oh, excuse you. Baloney wash. I'm annoyed. I'm just here to give my opinion and carry in. Oh, it's Chris Avalon Unfiltered, bitch. Hey y'all, welcome and happy Tuesday. It's your boy Chris Avalon and welcome to a brand new episode of Chris Avalon Unfiltered. Excuse me. A show we basically talk about all things going on in celebrity news, pop culture, hot topics, all that good messy stuff. Sometimes we'll throw a little politics up in the situation if it flows within the conversation at hand. So that's definitely a show for you. You could definitely stick around because we have a lot of tea to spill today. And by a lot of tea, I mean a lot of tea. Including, we got to talk about we got some new Wonder Woman news. Yeah, we're getting a new movie. And James Gunn said it's being written. So we got to talk about that. Plus, what's going on with Ballerina, the box office, people talking about the movie underperformed. And they're saying that this might, the John Wick franchise might be in danger and all this other stuff. I'll break it down because I feel like these critics that's talking about underperforming, flop, y'all are overreacting. But so I got to talk about that. Plus, we got to talk about the BET Awards that came on last night and my overall thoughts about that. We got to talk about this Justin Baldoni Blake Lively case. She up in here just throwing, cheerleading. She happy. She thinks she ate. But Justin Baldoni, I was like, don't get too excited, sis, because he got a couple of aces still up his sleeve. So we got to talk about that. Plus, Scooter Braun did a recent podcast interview, and he's opening up about Taylor Swift, suicidal thoughts apparently that he had, where he stands with Justin Bieber, his marriage, all this other stuff. Plus, we got to talk about, oh my God, I just realized I didn't make one of my banners for Taylor Swift. Word on the street is she and Travis Kelce may have secretly tied the knot. So hold on, let me make that banner because I was like, wait a minute, there's something missing. Okay, so I got it. So yeah, we got to talk about that. We got to talk about Katy Perry and her stress over the fact that this album and this tour is a flop, and how she's taking it out on Orlando Bloom. And if you've seen him it definitely looked like she took 20 years off of his damn life, or that just could be because white people age like rotten milk, or it's just that being in a relationship with Katy Perry will have you out here looking like her ex-husband, Russell Brand. So we got to talk about that. Plus, we got to talk about NeNe leaks and this controversy. People out here saying she transphobic over her recent T.S. Madison interview. We definitely got to break that down. I got the clips. I got my opinion. Speaking of phobia, they're out here accusing Miley Cyrus of being biphobic because she went and threw a little shade at JoJo Siwa and her fake little relationship with Hughes. So we got to talk about that. Plus, speaking of trans, Eddie Murphy and Mel B's child has come out as transgender. I think we've talked about this a couple of times on the show, but now it's like official tissue, so it's out there. We're going to talk about it. We have a lot of Drag Race news, including Adore Delano. Apparently, she performed at a Pride event, fell off the stage, and she's giving fans an update on how she's feeling, hence why she fell off. I got the videos, I got all that stuff, so y'all going to, see everything and all that good stuff. Plus, we got to talk about Alaska. It's talking about why she feels that she is not going to be asked back to come on Drag Race. And why she hasn't been asked back. We'll talk about that. Plus, Valentina wants to come back to Drag Race and compete on All Stars. We have to talk about this Mistress Isabel Brooks and Kerry Colby drama, because they were talking about how they didn't talk after, the All Stars point situation. Kerry appeared on Mistress's YouTube and they talked it on out. So we got to talk about that and a whole lot more. But before we get to those topics, if you can please do me a solid, hit that like button. If you are new to the channel, hit that subscribe button. And also be sure to smash that notification bell so that way you know when we go live with a brand new episode of Chris Avalon Unfiltered. I'll be putting in timestamps at the live stream, so that way for those who come in and watch the playback, y'all can just go to the clips in hand instead of sitting through the live, where we basically just banter with the people that are watching the live along with me and commenting on the topics at hand. All right, so let me hit my banner. And I see some comments is coming in already. Hola, chismosa. And I see Robert dropped a comment, but we'll get to y'all's stuff after, our first topic, which is, all the world is waiting for you, and me, you were there. Okay, let me stop. I do live for that song, but yeah. So apparently, know how this is news. I think we all kind of knew it was coming. It was just only a matter of time. I think they were talking about that they were going to bring this up that there's a Wonder Woman movie or something happening at San Diego Comic-Con. However, I've been hearing stories, and I think it was over there. I didn't watch the episode, but I saw it in the headlines. So I don't know if there was like it's true or not. But the word on the street is apparently DC is not going to be showing up at San Diego Comic-Con, and people are trying to say, will it have anything to do with the fact that Superman is getting mixed reviews or whatever? I don't care what anybody's saying. I'm still going to see the movie regardless. Excuse me. So whatever. But James Gunn revealed on social media and in a recent interview with Entertainment Weekly that yes, there is a Wonder Woman movie coming and they are writing the script, which I was like, duh, we all knew that because at this point, we have Superman coming. We have Supergirl already in the can. They're working on the post-production, all that other stuff. We already know that we have Lanterns coming. Don't know when that's coming, but we know they're working on that. So Aaron Pierre, speaking of Lanterns, last night at the BET Awards sitting with his boo thing, Tiana Taylor, who tore it up, by the way. We'll get into all of that after, once we're done with this topic. I'm going to give my BET recap. I almost slipped and fell right into it and went on topic, but let me bring it back. So yeah, we have Lanterns coming. We also have Batman coming. Don't know when. Well, they said it's supposed to come out in 2027. Who the hell knows at this point when they're officially going to start, unless they delay it again. We don't know what's going on with the Brave and the Bold. That's probably going to be James Gunn's other Elseworld Batman or whatever. So they need to figure that out. And we all knew it was only a matter of time. Like, yeah, you have to bring a Wonder Woman because the trifecta of DC would be Superman, Batman, Wonder Woman. You have to bring Wonder Woman in some shape or form. Thank God, and I know they ain't say it, but we already know. If you already got rid of the old guard of superhero actors, like if Jason Momoa is, even though he's Lobo now, not coming back as Aquaman, if you don't have Batfleck coming back, if you don't have Henry Cavill coming back, if you were still pissed off about that, we already know we're not getting that damn Zionist over there. That Israeli baby murderer, Gal Gadot, her non-acting ass. We already know we're not getting her to come back as Wonder Woman. Thank you, Jesus, because the bitch couldn't act her way out of a dirty-ass tampon. So I'm glad they're getting a new actress. I'm hoping it's going to be, speaking of Jason Momoa, his girlfriend, I think, was it Adriana Jorna, I think is her name. Everybody's been saying they want her to be Wonder Woman. We'll see who they pick. But I'm here for a new Wonder Woman. And it was like, we all knew it was coming. It was only a matter of time, but it's just a matter of when. And they do have a series, I do believe, that's coming out that they're working on. That's supposed to be on HBO Max, because that's what they call it again. And I stayed dead naming that name. I refuse to go Max. I'm like, it's HBO Max. Just like X will always be damn Twitter. So, speaking of which, so we're getting a Wonder Woman movie. And but they're supposed to be making a series based on the Amazonians of Themyscira. So I don't know when that's coming, but let's get into the story. So now, in a new exclusive interview with EW, that would be Entertainment Weekly, ahead of the launch of Superman, Gunn officially confirms that a Wonder Woman movie is in development as we speak, saying, quote, Wonder Woman's a separate thing to the already announced Paradise Lost HBO Max series, which is slow moving, but it's moving. We're working on Wonder Woman. Wonder Woman's being written right now. Now, y'all already know Gal Gadot starred as Diana Prince in the previous era of DC films, first as Zack Snyder's Batman v Superman, followed by 2 Wonder Woman movies from director Patty Jenkins, a Justice League movie, 2 if you include the Snyder Cut, and cameos in Shazam, Fury of the Gods, and The Flash. Plans for Godot's third solo outing as the beloved comic book character were scrapped once Gunn and Safran were appointed to lead DC and usher in a new cinematic universe, saying, quote, I was open to considering anything asked of me. This is what Jenkins commented in 2022 of the canceled Wonder Woman 3, saying, it was my understanding there was nothing I could do to move anything forward at this time. DC is obviously buried in changes they are having to make, so I understand these decisions are difficult right now. Now, Gunn confirms that he has not yet cast the role of Wonder Woman in the new DCU, but he also clarifies Zaslav's comment saying, quote, I think that's accurate, actually. He says of Superman, Batman, Supergirl, and Wonder Woman being the crucial characters to the franchise. I think that he got that from something I said. I wouldn't say only those 4 characters, but I would say that those 4 characters are incredibly important to us. Right now, I feel great about where 2 of those characters are, and then we're dealing with the other 2. And that's what I'm like, yeah, I've been saying this for the longest. I almost forgot to mention, I think I did mention Supergirl. But yeah, and part of this whole situation, when we had the Justice League thing before, and I think somebody asked him also in the interview about Justice League, nothing's on the, and he's like, nothing is on the table in regards of Justice League right now. And I'm glad they're kind of taking that direction, because the problem I had with the DCEU, I felt like they were trying to play catch up with the MCU. So y'all ushered in and rushed in this whole Justice League situation without giving all the other characters that you brought into the Justice League an opportunity to find their own path and have their own individual movies. And that's why I feel like Justice League suffered a bit, because it was like, oh yeah, we're trying to catch up with the MCU. But here you have to think, the MCU had a while to build up their momentum before we got, the Avengers. And all the other little characters that you had in there, yeah, they were in other programs, other shows, other movies and things before they were added to the whole Avengers situation. So it didn't feel like a rush job. I felt like the DCEU was a bit of a rush job. So I do agree that DCU needs to take their time trying to, get the scripts right, usher in the characters they need to usher in. And I do think that it's a great idea that they will focus on Superman, Supergirl, Batman, and Wonder Woman. I would love to see a real proper Wonder Woman movie. Now, don't get me wrong, I love the first Wonder Woman. I just thought that the whole fish out of water aspect to it definitely worked to Gal Gadot's strengths as a limitedly talented actress. So they definitely worked in it, and they definitely worked in that thick ass Israeli accent of hers, where they made everybody try to sound like, what her accent was. So I like the fact that Patty Jenkins was smart enough to work, on her limitations as an actor. I would kind of compare it to Dave Bautista, but Dave Bautista at least put in the work to prove that, when he works with the right people, he actually is a much better actor in a lot of situations. So people need to give him his credit, because I think a lot of times when you look at people who are athletes who get into the whole acting thing, a lot of people don't take them seriously. They think like, oh yeah, they're very, limited. But I just feel like out of all the ones that have come out, from Dwayne Johnson on down, that Dave Bautista has proved himself to be like one of the finest athlete turned actors that we've had in a long time. So I appreciate that. And I like this whole idea of them wanting to bring in these characters. And I'm here for seeing what they do with Paradise Lost. I'm definitely curious to see what they're going to do with Supergirl, because I felt like, you know what? We've never really gotten a proper Supergirl movie. I mean, I remember the one from back in the day with Helen Slater, who's related to Christian. I can't remember, is that his cousin or his sister? I think that was his sister or whatever. I can't remember. But yeah, they're related. She was Supergirl back in the day. And yeah, those movies were cheesy because it was what it was at the time. But I would love to see like a really Supergirl get like her just due and be like a cool character in that world. And we kind of just like her and see what she does. And they got the chick that was in the first season of the Game of Thrones spinoff. The damn name escapes me. But y'all know the show. So she was Rhaenyra in the first season, and now she is our new Supergirl. So I'm looking forward to seeing what they do with Supergirl. I'm definitely looking forward to seeing what they're doing with Superman. I'm hearing like the early screenings for Superman are selling out pretty quick. I definitely am going to go see this movie when it comes out. I mean, if I don't get this to early screenings, it's fine. I'll just go and see it in IMAX like I see all my other big movies. So with all that being said, I definitely want to hear from you all. What do you guys think of this story? Are you excited that we're finally getting a Wonder Woman movie? And while I liked the first Wonder Woman, I don't know what the hell they was thinking with 1984, but that movie was straight up trash. The acting, like it really I just think like maybe Patty just didn't care at that point. She was like, this movie made so much money. I just don't give a damn. Like what happens? I don't know what happened with that movie, because that movie was just terrible. Y'all even had Maxwell Lord himself, AKA, Pedro Pascal gagging over. I'm like, God damn, this broad's acting is terrible. Damn, I wish I could have found that clip of that they put together of like how Gal Gadot's acting was coming across, and he's looking at her like, what the hell are you doing? Like, it was definitely giving that. So I definitely want to hear from y'all. Let me know what you guys think of this story in the comments down below. Okay, hold on. Let me scroll on up and see what everybody's saying. You already said, hola chismosa. Hello, Simone Biles. Apologize to see you next Tuesday. Riley. No, I don't know why the hell you had to apologize to her. She is a LA's on fire. LOL, just kidding. Conservative witches. It's a lot of walking. For the most part, cops are the ones who, of course they are, because Trump is out here starting his mess, trying to agitate the protesters, which has been mostly peaceful. And then Gavin Newsom posted a picture of like, he's like, you got these military people out here for stunts and shows, but there's literally a picture of all these military officers just laying out on the floor. They don't have nowhere where they've stationed them so they could sleep, eat, drink, whatever. Like, you literally out here working them like damn slaves. This whole administration is a clown show, and it's embarrassing. You look stupid. But anyway, but how's that different than any other day? Have you by chance listened to the new Addison and Marina album? I didn't even know the Marina album came out. But no, I didn't get a chance to listen to it. I've been so busy. I don't know what was I listening to yesterday? I was listening to I was listening to the new Fade album. You know, that's Carol G Man. So that's what I was listening to yesterday because I was out and about. But no, I didn't get to listen. I want to listen to the new Marina album. I'm gonna definitely get around to it this week, but no, I haven't listened to it. I was like, wait a minute, I knew I was supposed to listen to something. In the group chat was saying that Linda Carter should play Hera, jealous of Diana. I do think that that would be a good storyline. That from the first movie, she went and killed, who was it? Zeus? There was a whole situation, and then Hera, you know, she's always been the jealous type because Zeus is always out here laying low and spreading it wide with every damn body, humans and non-humans alike. He was like, yeah, Zeus was a hoe. If you read, you know, any of the Greek mythology, which I grew up listening, you know, I was reading all that stuff in high school. But anyway, so I do agree, like that would have been a good storyline. They could have had her be the villain in 1984. First of all, I didn't like the idea of them doing it in the 80s. I kind of wish that they would have just did the first one was where it was back in the day. What was it, like the 1920s and 30s or something or another? And then the sequel should have been modern day. I hope they modern day Wonder Woman. Like, stop doing these past things. I don't like when they always try to put stuff in the past. It's like, okay, we know she's a god. We know she's ageless. So you could put it in modern society. So hopefully that's the direction that James Gunn is going to take the Wonder Woman franchise. And we have Apollo as Wonder Woman's villain. The hostage would be the Queen's. Shut up. Dave Bautista is a good actor. I wish people would give him his flowers. My half Asian brother. Not the Supergirl is Superman's cousin. No, what I was saying was Helen Slater played Supergirl. I was trying to remember if that was Christian Slater's sister or it's Christian Slater's cousin. I couldn't remember, but I think that's Christian Slater's sister. I just want midnight. Look, we're supposed to be having a series or movie based on the Authority. I don't know what's going on with that. So James Gunn has talked about that. I wish there would be just some or maybe I was gonna say I wish there would be some homosexual that would get on the Twitter. Maybe that homosexual have to be me. That get on the Twitter like, okay, James Gunn, what's going on with the Authority? Are we still getting that? And if we do, can y'all please not like water down Midnighter and Apollo? I'm not saying that you got to have scenes of them going down on each other and stuff, but we need to show like we can have superheroes that are queer and just can kick ass and take names about other stuff. And if it just so happens you want to kiss your man and stuff on camera, okay, that's not an issue. I mean, if the incels get mad, it's like read a damn comic. Because they was doing all that in the comics. I just saw a clip of an Australian reporter doing a story. Oh yeah, I did see. I did hear that. It's funny. I don't even remember that damn movie. She killed Aries. It was that the LA protests are a distraction because of Trump and Epstein file. Oh, it's all a distraction. And clips of Cash Patel on Rogan. You could tell he's uncomfortable with his lies. First of all, Joe Rogan is so easily radicalized. It's not even funny. I was like, ooh, let me make sure I close out this other window before I get to the next topics. I want to see Midnighter and Apollo kiss covered in their enemy's blood. You think they would actually go that dark with it? It'd be interesting to see if they do, or they try to reach for a PG-13 type situation. I say go rated R if they really want to go balls to the wall with it. But anyway, speaking of rated R, let's talk about Ballerina. So Ballerina came out over the weekend. I did do a review on it. So if y'all want to check out my overall review, you can definitely just go on my YouTube channel. I did clip it. So you can definitely check out my overall thoughts on it. I like the movie. Yes, it's not like the script is like thinner than Donald Trump's hairline, but nevertheless, it's full of action. Ana de Armas definitely did her thing. She has proven that she is definitely action movie star material. She's definitely charismatic. She kicks ass. It's, you know, I just thought the movie was really good. But unfortunately, the movie didn't make as much money as the box office people or Hollywood people had hoped. They had expected it was going to do 30 to 35 million. It actually came in $10 million short, which would be 25 million. So they're calling it a flop. And I'm like, wait a minute, it's not a flop because number one, Ballerina made way more money than the original John Wick movie did. I believe John Wick during its opening weekend made $14 million, and it went on to become like this cult hit. And then I think the second one made almost close to $30 million opening weekend. And then it wasn't until Parabellum that it started, making more money. So the people need to realize that the John Wick franchise has not been like this major blockbuster. It's never done like Fast and the Furious numbers or something or another like that. It's never done like, and I don't want to, maybe I shouldn't compare it to, because that's a big thing, a tall order, but it's never made like MCU numbers or this, that, and the other. It's a franchise that has slowly built itself based on, the more movies they put out. So yeah, Ballerina, I figured it wasn't going to make that much money. But what people need to realize is that with the John Wick movies, their budget was relatively small. I believe the first movie, their budget was $20 million. And that movie looks expensive as hell, especially shooting it in New York, which I thought was interesting. I believe that the budget for Ballerina was 90 million, which is still not bad. And I do think that the movie could definitely recoup and do really well. I think it's just going to have to take word of mouth. I do feel like maybe the name of the film hurts it, because people are kind of like, what the hell's a ballerina? And there's so many movies that with the ballerina name in it. I believe there's also like a Korean action movie called Ballerina. So it can be confusing. And then From the World of John Wick, like that is the dumbest title. So I think like maybe the title hurt it. Also that embargo situation that was going on at one point with Lionsgate. Like to me, Lionsgate, the way that y'all were approaching the overall promotion and people talking about it, I think might have hurt it as well. I kind of wish that y'all would have reverted back to what they did with the original movie. If you've seen the documentary Wick is Pain, which I've seen, I actually bought it. So I watched it, and just seeing like how they put that movie together and the hell that they went through to put the original John Wick movie, and how they were ready to shoot, and they needed $6 million to even start shooting the film. And luckily, like I stated before, many conversations I've talked about this, Eva Longoria came along and gave them the money to make this movie. So she saved the movie from not ever happening. So it happened because of her, and she came up with the money and put it in, and it is now, the rest is history, and we love the franchise for what it is. So with all that being said, I thought the movie is really good. Now let's get into the article. So it says that the summer movie season of 2025 has been fruitful thus far, with movies such as Final Destination Bloodlines, Mission Impossible, Final Reckoning, and Lilo and Stitch bringing out patrons en masse to multiplexes all around the world. I also think that maybe the reason why this movie is probably not doing well, because everything going up against Lilo and Stitch right now, that might be hurting it too, because it's like everybody's out here going to see Lilo and Stitch because it's like family entertainment and stuff. But Ballerina is actually, I know some people might feel like, oh, sexism and all that. No, first of all, a lot of men are going to see this movie. Maybe it could be because, yeah, they look at Ana de Armas and she's hot. And yes, she is. She's an attractive woman. Hence why the rumors going around that Tom Cruise is up in that coochie. Hopefully he don't put no Scientology spells upon it. But for the most part, apparently them two are hunching behind the scenes. They just ain't come forward with it yet, and they don't need to. But girl, make sure that you're not caught up in that whole side. Don't get caught up in that Scientology. Have you seen what y'all tried to do to Nicole Kidman and Katie Holmes and some of the others? But anyway, to get to the story, because we're getting on a side tangent. So yeah, they're talking about how the movie opened far below expectations, so much so that the studio might now, have to reckon with the idea that its planned John Wick cinematic universe may not be as viable as it had hoped. Director Len Wiseman's Ballerina opened at 24.5 million domestically this past weekend, coming in at number 2 behind Lilo and Stitch. Well, like I said, Lilo and Stitch is a family movie. Anything that goes up against Lilo and Stitch right now is going to be on the struggle bus. Even though Tom Cruise's Mission Impossible is still holding up. Because when I went to go see that the day before Ballerina, I went to see it in IMAX. And IMAX had a lot of people in that theater. So maybe if we could get Ballerina in some IMAX theaters, I actually saw Ballerina in Dolby. But if we can get Ballerina in some IMAX theaters, I think that would probably help with the finances too. I think that's what helped with Sinners. Like Sinners putting in IMAX and so many other screens, that definitely helped that movie make money. But I guess because Mission Impossible is out and they're still like taking over IMAX a little bit, that's probably why people aren't really going to go see Ballerina. But I don't know. I would love to hear from people as to why they haven't really gone in to see this film just yet. But let's continue. So it said, yeah, within its third weekend of release, overseas, the John Wick spinoff earned 26 million, giving it a global start just north of 50 million against a 90 million budget. And as part of a $1 billion franchise, that's not what Lionsgate was hoping for, especially since Ballerina had been expected to open between 30 and 40 million less than 2 weeks ago. So I am curious as to like what happened with that. Do you think maybe because they said 2 weeks ago it was people were expecting it to make 30 to 40 million? I'm wondering because it maybe in that time frame, do you think it might have had something to do with Lionsgate with their whole embargo situation, putting all that pressure on people like, no, you can't put out any negative comments about the film. And then when you see the movie, like everybody's general consensus of it is a lot of action. Honor the Armies is great. The movie looks good visually. The action scenes are killer. Like there's just a lot of really good. Like it doesn't let up from the beginning of the movie to the end. Nonstop action. The only problem is a lot of people were saying was that there's not much of a plot. But then again, when it comes to something like the John Wick franchise, we don't go to see John Wick to get Shakespeare. We ain't going there to get some Christopher Nolan-esque razzle dazzle spectacle, whatever. Like some heady, you know, tripped out, whatever. That's not what we go to see the John Wick movies for. We go to see people get shot, maimed, stabbed, beat up. Like that's what we go to see those movies for. And yeah, then we get, and then all the icing on the cake is we get caught up in the world of the Continental and the other assassins and the rules and the coins and going to, you know, the would you like an entree? You know, the whole breakfast hors d'oeuvre metaphors when we're talking about guns and knives and all this stuff. So we go for all of that stuff. We're not going there to get some, you know, history lesson. Like we're not going to see some Shakespearean opera. Like that's not what we're getting from those movies. We go for the razzle dazzle and the explosions and the fighting. It's not like it's a Michael Bay movie, but at least there's a little substance that I'll say that there is with the whole John Wick universe. A different type of substance. So now, starring Ana de Armas, the film centers around Eve Macaro, a member of the Roscaroma who seeks revenge for her father's death. Keanu Reeves also appears as John Wick, which was hyped up a great deal in the marketing to help let audiences know that this is part of the John Wick universe. It clearly didn't matter that much, though, and I think maybe because a lot of people found out he wasn't in a lot of the movie. It's like, yeah, if you really think about it, if you put it all together, Keanu Reeves in the movie for like at least a good, I'd say 10 minutes. Maybe I'll even stretch it to a good 15. And he's not in the movie a whole lot, but he doesn't need to be because, to be honest, they could not put him in the movie and the movie still is good. Like, we didn't really need Keanu Reeves as much as I like Keanu. We didn't really need him in this film to be able to sell it. Anna does a good enough job where she carries this film on her own. But for that this one little sequence where it's like, okay, you could have just threw him up in there, but then having him go after her where she went after the cult, and getting him to try to stop her or whatever the case is. We didn't really need that scene, but it was great to see him in the movie. And his fight sequence with Anna was great. And if people sit there thinking like she was going to take out the Baba Yaga, like we all know that wasn't happening. So I like the idea that they restored the Baba Yaga's mysteriousness back to the franchise, like people fearing him and all that other stuff. Now they said that the only movie in the franchise to open lower was the original John Wick, which debuted to 0.4 million in 2014 before pulling in 86 million worldwide. Now, from there, the property took off like a rocket, with each new entry making far more than the last. John Wick Chapter 4 bowed to a franchise best 73.8 million before finishing its run with 447 million worldwide. So I do feel like word of mouth is what's going to happen. I kind of wish that and I do feel like Lionsgate, y'all dropped the ball with this. I feel like y'all should have did what y'all did with the original John Wick, which was like after all and now I remember because I was like, wait a minute, I knew there was something I was going to say, but I totally forgot. Now it's come back. I think what helped with John Wick, with everything that happened with Wick's pain in the documentary and what we found out with that and all the hell that they went through to get this movie done, what helped John Wick was when they premiered it at South by Southwest. If they would have taken Ballerina and showed it at like Sundance, South by Southwest, one of those type of events, because those are the places where you get the movers and the shakers, you get a lot of the commentators like myself, like a YouTuber, TikTokers, all those others, even though some of y'all get on my nerves and y'all only do it for the attention, but those who really are a fan of movies, like like myself or like the Drum Dums or the Cody Leaches and the Chris Stuckmans and all those other types, and or Adam Does Movies. Like if you get those types that do those, that or the Christian Harloffs, the John Campions, all of those. If you would have premiered this at like I heard that they did show it at CinemaCon, and people were praising the clip that they showed at CinemaCon. So it was getting great stuff that way. But if they would have did it at South by Southwest, I really feel like it would have helped the movie in a lot of ways, similar to what it did with John Wick 10 years ago when the first one came out. So this says the good news is that audience members who didn't turn up really liked the film. Who did turn up, really liked the film, with Ballerina earning a A- cinema score and a 93% audience approval rating on Rotten Tomatoes. The critic score is less great, currently sitting at 75%, but what's still good, and as we've seen time and time again, word of mouth from audiences is what matters most, which is really what I have been saying throughout this whole situation. Now, I do think that what they may have to worry about is that June is a pretty packed month, so I don't know if it's definitely going to help. But I feel like by next month they're going to rush this damn movie out on digital for real, to rent or buy. So I do feel like maybe that'll help. But then again, I'm kind of annoyed that y'all just be rushing out these movies too now. So that could be it too. That people just stay on because they're like, you know what? In like 3 weeks, it'll be out on Amazon Prime. I could rent it and watch it at home, or I could buy it for $25 and keep it if I like it and all this other stuff. But you have to realize we have How to Train Your Dragon coming out, I think this week. We have The Materialist, which I think is a movie with my husband, Pedro Pascal. You know, I love that man. And Chris Evans with Dakota Johnson, the other girl who should be in the movie. It should just be Chris Evans and Pedro Pascal in a rom-com together. That would be entertaining enough. Then we have 28 Years Later, which I'm really looking forward to seeing. I definitely am going to the movies to see that. We have Ilio, animated Disney stuff. I don't care, but go off. F1, I'm not a big race car guy, but I'm definitely going to go see that because that movie looks really good. And I saw the trailer in IMAX when I went to go see when I went to see Mission Impossible. They showed that trailer and I'm like, this movie looks really good on this screen. So the surround sound followed by the IMAX screens, that is one of the only reasons why I want to see F1. I'm not, like I said, I'm not a race car guy. I have friends who are. I have been caught up in drag race situations with friends of mine who was a drag racer and had like a sports car. But we don't even need to go into it. At least I'm alive to tell the story. But that's something I definitely want to see. Megan 2.0, you already know that's coming out. So, you know, the girls and the homosexuals are going to be in the theater seeing that. And so we have all those movies coming out in June. So, yeah, it's a tough month. And I kind of wish that, you know what, maybe dropping this movie in June also hurt it. If they would have released this movie earlier in the year when it was less competition, I also feel like that would have helped this movie. So I think Lionsgate's marketing may have hurt it a little bit, and the release. I mean, it definitely is a summer movie, but I feel like if you're doing this film that doesn't really have an audience yet and aren't really familiar with the whole John Wick universe, you should have released it earlier in the year with less competition. So I think that's probably what hurt it too. Now, we do have other movies that's supposed to be coming out with the John Wick spinoff situation. And the question remains, does this mean the John Wick universe is in danger of not happening? Because we have Donnie Yen's Kane, which he is directing, and that's supposed to be coming out. So that's probably gonna take place where you see this blind assassin who was a friend of John Wick's, whose daughter was kind of like hidden or whatever the case is, because you know, protecting her and all those. If you know the story from John Wick Chapter 4, you already know the backstory with that. But having that story come, we have to worry about that now. It's like, will this movie actually be good? Will people go and support this film? Because we have that movie coming where, you know, we're getting a Kane movie. Then there is an anime, which is going to focus on John Wick's impossible task. So I'm sure they're going to have probably Keanu Reeves come in and do the voiceover because it's anime. So, you know, the task that got him out of the world so that way he can go and be married to Helen and have the life that he wanted to have. So that whole impossible task that, you know, Santino D'Antonio helped him get out of, that's supposed to be getting a story. Which I kind of wish they would just stick to the illusion of that, alluding to that story and not give us an actual thing on it. But if that's what y'all going to do, then whatever. Who am I to stop you? And then we also have John Wick 5 coming because we already know nobody stays dead in the John Wick universe. So the question remains, will those films suffer? It's only a matter of time. But I do feel like that Lionsgate definitely needs to show their belief in this movie because Ballerina is a good movie. It would be sad if we don't get a sequel. That I do feel like this franchise needs to happen. I do feel like we need to see more females in action movies, and this is a really good franchise that I would be upset if they let go to waste. So, if y'all have, so I definitely want to hear from you all. Have you seen Ballerina? What are your overall thoughts on it? Or if you have yet to see it, what is the reason why you haven't actually gone out to check out this franchise or this movie within this world? I like the world. I like when we go in the world. I like all the different characters. You know who also I felt like they should have really given a franchise a movie to, because there's so much potential there based off of their one scene, two scenes, whatever the case is. I'm still going hard on this Halle Berry Sophia story. Like they should have really given Halle Berry a movie, because I feel like she was such a great addition to Parabellum that I'm like, why haven't y'all gone on to give her a movie? I mean, I get that y'all doing the whole ballerina thing based off of something from Parabellum and putting Ana de Armas in that ballerina lead role. She definitely, like I said, kicks ass and does a great job. But I think like sleeping on Halle Berry and not giving her solo movie, I think that is a mistake on their part as well. Oh my God, I totally forgot. Before we get off this story, Chad Stahelski even commented recently about, because I forgot, then we also have The Continental. That was, I'm sorry, I didn't like it. And I'm glad that he spoke on it. So he recently spoke to Collider and said the following. He said, a spinoff is in big trouble when the guys who made the franchise aren't involved. That's exactly what happened with hashtag The Continental, the Peacock series that aimed to expand the hashtag John Wick universe by exploring Winston's rise in the 70s. While I found an audience and broke some streaming records, John Wick director and co-creator Chad Stahelski says he and Keanu Reeves were mostly sidelined, and it shows, saying, quote, "The studio tried to convince me that they knew what they were doing. A group of individuals thought they had the magic sauce. If you want to take out Basil Iwanik's producing intuitiveness, if you take out Keanu's way of delivering quirky dialogue, and you take out all the visuals I have in my head from Wong Kar-wai, anime, Leone, why can I even say this name? Bernardo Bertucci, or Andrei Tchaikovsky, then it's not the same thing. They thought this was as easy as using anamorphic lenses, do a kooky hotel, put in weird dialogue, and insert crime drama." Well, I do agree with that, because I'm just like, if you didn't bring in the people that actually understand this world, that have made the world what it is, that have actually taken the world to the next level based off of the writing that was in the original John Wick script. And they even say this in Wick is Pain. They say, like, and when you watch the movie, that he was like, I mean, when you watch the documentary, he was like, you know what? Like, he literally, like, when Chad and David Leitch came in with their little lookbook of visuals and where they wanted to go with this world, and they took it. They were like, they took this beyond what I had initially written in the script. So all those like really cool ideas with the colors and the anime and all these other influences, the Sergio Leone stuff, the Tchaikovsky, all the other, in the Wong Kar-wai, a lot of the Western elements, Hong Kong action and the gun fu and all that. Like, you took all those elements, which they actually wanted to use that for Jason Statham for that movie Safe. But Jason Statham was like, oh, I want to do that. So Jason Statham basically just gives y'all the same goddamn character and the same fight sequences and the same damn shit in his movies over and over and over again. But then when they wanted to bring him something different, he did a little bit of it in Safe, but he was against it. And it's fine. They gave it to Keanu Reeves, and Keanu Reeves made it what it is. And that's why it's like everybody's trying to copy off of what the Wiccan type stuff that you see in the John Wick universe. Everybody trying to copy that in their little action movies. So yeah, I wanted to add that before, because I almost forgot to bring that up as well. So I definitely want to hear from y'all. I know it was a lot, but it's a lot to break down when it comes to this whole ballerina situation. So I definitely want to hear from y'all. Let me know what your thoughts are on this story in the comments down below. Yes, Darren Chris is Filipino. There's a lot of Filipinos that won. Shout out to the Tonys, because Darren Chris got a Tony. Nicole Scherzinger got a Tony, which I know people were mad about, because they was like, oh, she's a Trump supporter, all that stuff. But and they were like, oh, she went over Audra McDonald. I'm like, Audra McDonald's got like 25 freaking Tonys. She'll be fine not having the one. If that's 25, it's like 11 or 12, I believe. She's got like a dozen. So yeah, we all knew like Sunset Boulevard's been getting such rave reviews. I knew she was gonna get the Tony. Why was people surprised? Audrey McDonald is not upset, trust and believe, although I do think that they did Gypsy dirty. They could have won something. They gave it to that child with all that hairy ass chest, dressing like a hairy Bernadette Peters. And they said they don't want movies to grow as because you got to give, and I think also the problem with movies, you have to give them a chance to find the audience and to grow and develop. You can't expect everything to be a blockbuster the first week out. Everything's got to be $100 million opening weekend. Like, that's impossible, especially in this economy. And the fact that people out here struggling financially, although I did hear yesterday when I went to my meeting that the US Open is around, y'all buying up a lot of those tickets. They said the cheapest ticket is like about $250. I'm like, Jesus. I'm glad I work in these events because I'm like, the way that y'all be spending money and stuff out there, I get to see all this stuff for free. It said Final Destination Bloodlines home digital release was moved to August due to it. And that's why I said, y'all need to stop. And then they say that was supposed to be coming out on like maybe like this month or something or another. So I do feel like they need to give movies a chance to like blow up, grow, find its own. Stop being so quick to rush things on digital. When I saw Darren in American Crime Story Versace, I had no idea he was half Asian. So when his character dad on the show was a brown skinned Filipino, and funny enough, the person that played his father, his son is in Teo Briones. He's actually in Final Destination Bloodlines. Funny how that all comes together. But yeah, the funny thing is, yeah, you look at Darren Chris, is like, yeah, he definitely looks white presenting, but yeah, he's part Filipino. Like I said, I'm going to see How to Train Your Drag Queen on Sunday. I definitely want to see How to Train Your Dragon, the live action. Now, that's the movie you can get me to go see. Sailor Mermaid been trying to get me, oh, you want to go see, what he said, Lilo and Stitch? I'm like, sir, I am not 12. Me going to movies of damn Lilo and Stitch? No, but I will go see How to Train Your Drag Queen. You could definitely get me to go see that. Darren was so good at the Versace. Yeah, he's a good actor. And then he was out here talking about, oh, you're not going to see me in the more homosexual stuff. I'm like, look, if you want to come in and do more homosexual parts, do the homosexual part. I don't think you taking roles from us. I'd go see Lilo and Stitch if they hadn't cut out my favorite scene. What? I was going to say, what's your favorite scene? But then again, I don't want spoilers. But anyway, let's move on, y'all, and let's get into the BET Awards, which I'm not gonna hold you. I must say, y'all did y'all big one yesterday. But then again, the BET Awards, out of all the award shows, has never let me down in regards of like quality entertainment. Like I feel like they've always done a great job of putting these shows together, highlighting music, highlighting the performances, and highlighting people who actually win the awards. And I will say this. AMAs, maybe y'all can learn a lesson, or maybe nobody just cares enough to even give the AMAs stuff, unless you're SZA, who her big ass had the nerve to show up at the American Music Awards, but she couldn't make it last night to the BET Awards. Really, sis? But everybody else was there. Doechii was there. Well, we'll talk about her in a minute, because I live for her speech. Hello, going in on Donald Trump. Also, Lizzo, girl, why was I hearing you when everybody was on the stage talking? Like, she is so, even though you went and lost all that damn weight, you already know a big girl's always going to be a big girl. They stay being loud. The mic was picking her loud ass up the whole time. And she was getting them on. I'm like, bitch, don't shut the fuck up. Like, this was me when I'm watching the show. Because I could hear her. And then when they panned her, I was like, I knew it was Lizzo. I just knew it. Her ass being front row, being all loud. You don't need to put a microphone on her for you to hear her. And I saw Lanithia was there too last night with that same wig she been wearing for the past couple of days. Well, even the T.S. Madison interview, she had the same wig on. But nevertheless, the BET did their thing last night. Even Kendrick Lamar was there, who couldn't show up at the AMAs, but showed up at the BET Awards. I was loving. I definitely. Here's the highlights, because there was so many highlights. I love the 106 in Park tribute where y'all brought everybody out. Ashanti, A. Marie got up there. B2K, they were able to bring all four of them up on that stage before. And then Bow Wow came out with JD. First of all, this had me thinking similar to the Queens of R&B, where you had like Total, Escape, Maya, all of them come out, SWV, all of them did a tour together. I think that the 106 in Park need to come up and do like a whole tour situation where you bring out all those people that was up on the internet stage, have them tour together and do a show. I don't know who you would have be the main attraction, open and close, but I would love to see a tour where it's like B2K, Bow Wow, Ashanti, A. Marie, Keisha Cole, all of them. If y'all could get all of them to kind of come up and do a show together, I would definitely love to see something like that. I think it would definitely be a good show. And we are not a nostalgia era right now, so I could definitely see like with our whole nostalgia situation going on, that a lot of people will actually go and see that show. So yeah, a lot of the performances was great. I got to talk about Teyana Taylor. First of all, I thought she retired from music, but apparently she hasn't. She got up there and did the whole Katy Perry opening thing with her tour. I know people going to compare her situation to Katy Perry. However, at least when she was up there doing her little tour, Katy Perry situation, she was giving you core strength. She was giving you choreography. She actually was looking like she gave a damn. She actually wanted to be up there on that damn stage performing. So you could swagger jack, you could do whatever. First of all, quiet as it's kept. You clear folks been doing it to us colored folk since millennia, the dawn of time, the march of dimes. Y'all know what I'm saying. Since before speech replaced sign language, y'all been doing that. So I was here living for the Teyana Taylor performance and seeing her fine ass man in the audience, Aaron Pierre. But nevertheless, she tore it up. She gave good show. I love the choreography. I like the whole thing, the futuristic situation that was going on with that. Then I lived for the Jamie Foxx situation, the big tribute. So they brought out everybody. They brought out everybody from Stevie Wonder to Screamer for Hudson. And when she came out, of course, first never, Screamer for was screaming, taking us to church. But nevertheless, she was screaming on key. That was cute or whatever. Then Jamie Foxx got on that stage. Let me tell you, I don't think there was a dry eye in the house, including from me. I even shed a tear because I was in my feelings. I was getting very emotional watching that, watching his speech. I didn't mind him running and talking for like a good 15 minutes. However, there's one person I was like, can you please just give this broad award and shut the hell up and get off the stage? We got to talk about Busta Rhymes. Why was he talking so damn much? I was like, can you just get to the point, sir? Like, I'm literally looking at my watch. I had to fast forward a couple of times. I was like, you are talking too damn much. I believe that, I don't even know how long the episode was because according to my DVR, because I have Philo, the whole episode was like 3.5 hours. But the DVR cut. So I don't even know when it ended. Because I know like Kurt Franklin and all was supposed to come up. I didn't get to that part because my DVR was what it was. So I think they expected it to be done at a certain time and it just was done. But I think they went over. So I don't know what was the last part of the BET Awards, but I feel like I got enough of my fill where I could talk about this. I was glad to see Kendrick Lamar win. I was here for Doechii's speech where she went in on Donald Trump. I will vote for Donald Trump. I was living for her speech with Donald, going in and throwing shade at Donald Trump. I was here for it. She would throw up the fence. She was like, period. And put up that fence in the air. I was like, yes, it's the only guy with black power. You better work. So I was here for, Doechii's speech. I was here for all the performances. Like I said, since we was talking about Mariah Carey. Mariah, I love you. You are an icon. You are snatched for the gods. You could sing the house down boots. You have so many hits. You have given us so many hits. But sis, auntie, is she at the age where we could call her auntie? Or she would probably get mad if we do that because, she's 56 years old, but don't like to be in that whole, oh no, you're not going to sit up here and call me auntie. I think Mary J. Blige don't even like being called auntie, but girl, you be giving auntie teas, so you always going to be Auntie Mary. But when it comes to, I'll just call her sis, older sis, even though she's way older than me. I need you to do something. I need you to do a Wendy Williams shimmy. Give me something. Like her on that stage. She is a horrible live performer. I love the song. I like you give us hit after hit after hit. You are the queen of Christmas. which I know that would be debatable for some. But niece, auntie, sis, older sis, all the things. I need you to do something. I know you feel like we know you biracial. We know you probably teeter more on the white side with the rhythm, rhythmically challenged. Can't even say it. But girl, you had me like, oh my god, what is she doing? At one point, she put out her hand like that was part of the choreography. But maybe that was a choreography from some other show, and not that show she was on. So I don't know what she was trying to do with that hand. Then she was, oh, let me pull that hand back, and then they was like, hold the mic while they was taking her coat off. It was like the choreography was off. The dancers was doing their big one, but I don't know if Mariah just didn't show up to rehearsal. Like the rehearsal was literally her getting on the stage at the BET Awards and giving the show. Maybe she thought that was the rehearsal. But for the most part, it was like, says, give me something. Now, speaking of messes, because Mariah wasn't the only one that was a hot mess during her performance, we got to get on Lil Wayne. Now, I already told y'all, I already had the strike one was already his show that I did over at the Garden last Friday. This was a strike too with the BET Award. What the hell was that? He came out on that stage with the cut, probably had that damn codeine and shit up in there, and literally gave you the same show that is on the tour. Like when you see the choir and all the other stuff up there, that is literally the tour. That's how he opens the show on the tour. And so I was like, okay, whatever. And y'all keep hyping him up, the greatest rapper alive and all this other stuff. And then he gives y'all what Mariah's giving. Y'all can't be icons and legends and giving lazy on stage. Like you see Beyonce still serving the girls at her big age, and she ain't even that old, but she been in the industry long enough that she knows I have to give y'all 110% every damn time. Stop giving people, when you're supposed to be at this level of 110%, you giving 35. So I hope I hit on fired on all cylinders. I know like there was, I don't even know who won everything, because when they put out the list of winners on all the websites, they only highlighted like 3 people, but they didn't update. And this was on all of the sites, the Variety, Deadline. I'm looking at all, and I'm like, so who won? Like, I'm about to check out the list of winners that's updated. I'm looking at the list of winners. Y'all didn't highlight who won stuff. Chris Brown won an award. I told you, regardless of how people feel about Chris Brown's still out here selling records. He's selling out stadiums, and we get that he's problematic, all this other stuff. But look, his people still supporting what Chris Brown does. So yeah, who else won? Besides Doechii and Kendrick, they said Leon Thomas beat out stiff competition like Shabuzi and Big X the Plug. Even who's that little queen, the one that just got allegedly that was outed? He was nominated. The one that we've been talking about on here in the last show. D-Lo, whatever the hell his name is. Yeah, I was like, oh, they nominated him too. I don't know who that child is. I ain't never heard of him. Some of y'all have, but apparently BET and Boss Man D-Lo, that's his name. I was trying to remember. Oh, yeah, so Doechii won best hip hop. Yeah, Boss Man D-Lo, he was the best male hip hop. So yeah, there's that. So and that's all I got to say on that. I feel like, and funny enough, that was off the dome. Like literally me coming up and telling y'all about like my overall thoughts about the BET Awards, because I didn't write nothing. But I hope I hit fired on all cylinders in regards to the whole thing. But if there's anything I missed, definitely drop it down in the comments. What were your highlights? What were your lowlights? Did you enjoy the show? I thought that the show was pretty good. Definitely BET, whoever produced this year, y'all need to do this every year and just really highlight the music, highlight the talent. As Tyler Perry has been saying numerous times, let's stop always running around trying to expect them white folks to give us stuff, to acknowledge us, to expect us to, to accept us in these rooms. We need to create the room. We want a seat at the table. Stop begging these people to give us a seat at the table. Create your own table. Put your own chairs at that table, and you sit at the head of the table, and you bring those other people that are part of the community around that table. Let's stop trying to expect them people over there to give us what we need. And to me, I felt like BET Awards covered all of that. They celebrated Black excellence. They celebrated the music. They celebrated the culture. And that's what it is. And if MTV, since y'all all under the Viacom umbrella, was smart, Y'all would take a page out of the 106 and Park handbook and apply that to TRL, especially when it comes to the VMAs coming up this year, and y'all want to highlight TRL and what it is. I mean, yeah, they'll be like, "Oh, y'all copying," but I told you, the clear folks, they stay swagger jacking and stealing from us all the damn time. So why would this be different than any other day? But if y'all want to rejudge and breathe some life up into the VMAs, because y'all don't play music videos, y'all haven't played a music video in over 15 damn years on that channel. Nash's Teen Mom episodes and the Jersey Shore season 80 and freaking the challenge season 45. So that's all y'all got over there at this point. So if y'all want to do a whole the VMA situation, y'all need to find creative ways to highlight music and the culture and all the other stuff when y'all don't play music videos over there. So I definitely want to hear from y'all. So let me know what your overall thoughts on this story in the comments down below. All right. Mm-hmm. Oh, you said Enrique? Yes, he is, because not Filipino, because of the Spaniard stuff. It's similar to my culture, which is for those of you who don't know, I am part Filipino as well. So the whole situation of like the colonization of the Philippines from Spain. I do have Spanish blood flowing through my veins. So when people ask like the Latin side is the Filipino side and the Spaniards, all of that mixed in. So when people think like Puerto Rican, Dominican, no, it is the European Spaniard side. Because my great grandfather was from Madrid, born and raised. I also got a grandfather that was born in Germany, but that's a whole nother conversation for a whole nother day. I've had people make Nazi jokes towards me, but it's fine. It's all right. So, how you say you didn't want to spoil? Doechii gave it. Yes, I definitely loved her speech. It damn sure was. And I didn't want to windmill too hard on A. Marie because that's my half Asian sister, even though she's Korean. But this is why they invented backing tracks. But you can't be doing that over there on Tiny Desk. Tiny Desk is what you hear is what you hear. And it definitely was a vocal mess, especially when she's saying one thing. I'm like, if there's one thing that's got me tripping, is girl, find the damn note. How about that? So it was just like, no, it was a mess. But so I had to turn it off. But she definitely did her thing on the BET Awards. But she barely sang. She was up there shaking her little shimmy, and that was it. Mariah's, she damn sure is. It's like we live for the music, but I wouldn't pay $20 to see Mariah live, and that's no shade. That's just a fact. She gets 20%, and her tours is worth $20, if that. So I don't know. For those of y'all, I know y'all are hardcore lambs out there. I don't know how y'all do it. I don't know how y'all spend money to see her give, like, as Felix says, 20%. Because I could never. I'd listen to the music and watch her from afar. Whew, child of ghetto. Okay, let's move on, y'all. So let's get into this Blake Lively, Justin Baldoni mess, because apparently Miss Mamas is out here so happy because she's thinking, oh, they threw out all the Justin Baldoni stuff, the $400 million lawsuit against her. I do believe they also, if I'm not mistaken, threw out his suit against the, what is it, Marvel, Disney. I think it was the whole nice pull situation. They threw that out too. But look, Justin's people are far from they're feeling optimistic. They don't feel like that it's far from over. It's like, oh yeah, he may have lost the battle a little bit, but the war is far from over. There was this clip that was sent to me. I think Robert sent it to me. It was from Instagram where this guy broke down the whole legal situation regarding Blake Lively, and they're saying it's a lesson for Amber Heard that maybe she should have took that into consideration with her case against Johnny Depp. So we'll play that clip, and then I'm gonna go in and read y'all the rest of the article, which basically goes in on what Baldoni's lawyer Brian Friedman had to say about the claims of sexual harassment and the legal war and all that other stuff. So let's get to that clip. Hold on a second. As I try to remember how to do every damn thing over here. Okay. So let's get to that clip. We'll come back and we'll talk. Please hold.
Breaking news, the judge throws out Justin Baldoni's lawsuit against Blake Lively, even though she ruined his reputation. Let's get into it. Listen, I'm not going to lie, it's a major loss for Justin Baldoni. Now, he does have an opportunity to amend his complaint and still move forward, but this doesn't make Blake Lively innocent, and this doesn't make him a predator. Let's get into how Blake Lively won her motion to dismiss. Now, when it comes to defamation, this is always an uphill battle and always really hard to fight. And like I said from the start, Blake Lively was really smart and strategic about how she made the allegations against Baldoni. Let's not forget her shady secret Van Zandt lawsuit, which is how she obtained his text messages without his knowledge and then leaked those in the New York Times. Or the fact that she brought these allegations in a CRD complaint, forfeiting an investigation, but she published them in the New York Times despite filing a California CRD complaint. So many questions about how she went about it, but it was very smart legally. I've always said that from the beginning. I didn't think she would win her motion to dismiss. I thought this would be played out in front of a jury, but here we are. But like I've also said, just because you do something legally strategic does not mean that it's not morally corrupt. What's legal and what's moral are two completely different things. She got off on the technicalities, which is what I was afraid she was always going to win with. But let's be clear, Baldoni did not lose because he's a predator or because she's right in all of this. That has yet to be brought before a jury. And Blake Lively's lawsuit against him is still ongoing. He has to still fight that. But the way she won this motion to dismiss is because she made the allegations in a legal complaint, which then granted her litigation protection from defamation, which means you can't sue someone for defamation if they make a claim against you in a legal filing, such as her CRD complaint. Now, again, those are typically confidential, but she conveniently leaked that with his text messages into the New York Times, which is what then brought in the defamation claims. However, we also have protections for the press, which is what protected her in that second layer and protected the New York Times. Litigation privilege and privileges of the press. Again, technicalities. It was smart, strategic, in my opinion, evil, but she knew what she was doing, and her team knew what they were doing with making those allegations as well, knowing how difficult it is to win a defamation lawsuit. Amber Heard lost her defamation lawsuit from Johnny Depp because Amber Heard didn't have litigation privilege. She didn't make any of the allegations against Johnny Depp in a formal legal filing. That's what protected Blake Lively. If anything, Amber Heard taught her how to win this. Like I said, Baldoni can amend his complaint, but essentially his defamation case is dead at this point. So this doesn't make him a predator, it just makes Blake Lively and her legal team really fucking cutthroat. Breaking news, the judge throws...
Well, so there's that. So yeah, I just basically wanted to give y'all a whole insight into the legalities and stuff of it all. So yeah, it was like defamation. She figured out with the legalities and stuff, how she was able to get that tossed out. But like I said before, this is far from over. And before I move on to the rest of the story, I want to give a shout out to No Filter with Zach, who's over there, who you can follow him over there on Instagram, because I don't want to just sit up in here and use people's likeness and things of that nature without giving the proper credit. Now, with that being said, let's get into the situation. So they said, well, according to the Daily Mail, they're exclusively revealing that only the defamation part of the lawsuit was tossed, which is basically what Zach had to say in his IG story, then his reporting of it. So now they say that Baldoni's team has been allowed to file an amended complaint, leaving Blake Lively and husband Ryan Reynolds still fighting a battle over 4 more claims ranging from invasion of privacy to civil extortion. On top of that, they're also revealing that Lively is facing being deposed by the Jane the Virgin star's lawyers, and that a motion to do that was filed last week. The sting in the tail came as Baldoni's team broke their silence to say their claims of triumph are false, while hitting out at the statement Lively made last night, calling her partial victory a win for women. So now this lady out here who's rude and nasty to a lot of people and have been disrespectful to many women, now all of a sudden you want to weaponize being a damn female? That's about a win for women. No, bitch. First of all, we already know you thinking about yourself with this. But I love how they like the gaslight and be like, oh, it's a win for women. No, bitch, it's a win for you. Because you don't care about other women based over your reputation and how you treat other women. Be it that woman that was that did the interview with, and then the recent story that we did. Allegedly the Leighton Meester stuff that happened during the Gossip Girl era. I think there was another situation she got into with Anna Kendrick, which they try to clear that up, like, oh, there's no ill will between those two. And then most recently, when she was seen in a store in New York and was acting like a complete "see you next Tuesday," according to the people that were in the store. So, Blake, don't try to weaponize the whole female population for your own selfish stuff. Let's not do that. And I hate when people do that. Like, don't piss on my leg and tell me it's raining, because I can see through all the BS. Now, to get back to the rest of the story, they said that Baldoni's lawyer, Brian Friedman, said her claims of harassment of the sexual kind that sparked the legal war are no truer today than they were yesterday, and thank the public for their unmitigated support. So now I do believe, if I'm not mistaken, I have the full statement. Oh, so I do have it. Hold on. They said Mr. Lively and her team's predictable declaration of victory is false. So let us be clear about the latest ruling. While the court dismissed the defamation-related claims, the court has invited us to amend 4 out of the 7 claims against Ms. Lively, which will showcase additional evidence and refine allegations. This case is about false accusations of sexual harassment and retaliation and the non-existent smear campaign, which Ms. Lively's own team conveniently describes as untraceable, because they cannot prove that what never happened. Most importantly, Ms. Lively's own claims are no truer today than they were yesterday. And with the facts on our side, we march forward with the same confidence that we had when Ms. Lively and her cohorts initiated this battle and look forward to her forthcoming deposition. The writing on here is so damn little. But let me finish. Which they said so it said and her cohorts initiated this battle and look forward to her forthcoming deposition, which I will be taking. We are grateful for the organic show of support from the public and for the dedication of the internet sleuth community, who continue to cover the case with discernment and integrity. Well, I'll say this, Mr. Friedman, you're welcome. But that's usually how I've been trying to come at this whole thing. It's like I wouldn't trust Blake as far as I could throw her. That lady gives evil, sinister, "see you next Tuesday" vibes. There's always been something about her that I always found stink. And don't get me wrong, I was a Blake Lively fan once upon a time, because I was like, I liked her on Gossip Girl. I liked her when she's appeared in things. But when I started hearing stuff about her behavior behind the scenes, I was like, you know what? I don't like her. And then that little half a homosexual husband of hers, because you can't tell me. I don't know if he's in the closet or that's just him being Canadian, because some of y'all are questionable over there in Canada. Shout out to the Canadians. I live for y'all. But he's giving closet homosexual tease. I mean, it just could be me. Allegedly. We say that. But something about Ryan Reynolds, I'm like, you don't like pussy completely. So, I don't know. It's always been something that's been rubbing me the wrong way in this whole situation. And the whole tossing Baldoni lawsuits out. I don't understand what's been going on. Some people feel like, oh, they must have paid off the judge. That I don't know if that's true or whatever the case was, but yeah, y'all got your little big one for now. It's cute or whatever. Then you're getting away with what you're getting away with for the time being. But we'll see how this whole thing plays out, because I do believe that the case hits the actual courts on, let me see if it actually says it in here. I believe it's sometime in 2020. I don't know, because the Daily Mail, they like to write freaking novels when it comes to their stories and this, that, and the other, or their reporting, or they like to take everything from back in the day that they've written and just add a little extra to the sentence and then just regurgitate the whole damn article. So I'll definitely keep you guys abreast of the story as it develops, as I have been, but I'm not going to go and do a daily situation, because it's just so multi-layered and nuanced, and there's so many things that's to talk about regarding this situation that it's hard to keep up on everything. But this is the latest that's been going on with this. I'll definitely keep you guys abreast of the story as it develops. I'm trying to remain neutral in this situation, but y'all already know pretty much where I lean in this whole conversation, because I just don't like when you have people who are in positions of power who like to bulldoze their way into situations and act like complete bullies or hide behind their powerful husbands because they have a lot of money and they were able to get $1 billion movie out of the Deadpool and Wolverine, that they like to use their husband as a way to windmill and to bulldoze themselves into situations to the point where allegedly they wound up sucking Taylor Swift into their situation. So I definitely want to hear from y'all. What do you guys think of this latest story regarding Blake Lively and Justin Baldoni? It's like, yeah, she won her little battle right now, but Justin's like, you know what? I feel optimistic that we still gonna fight this thing, and now this lady has ruined my reputation based off of her powerful position in Hollywood and making me look a certain way. And a lot of people feel like because of Me Too, Time's Up, that we automatically, and yes, I do feel like we should always believe victims, but if victims are out here actually doing the low key bullying and using power, money, and influence to, in the perception of us, act like a villain or act like the victim when you the villain, that doesn't sit right with me in a lot of situations. And I feel like in this situation also, should she walk away and win all of this and Justin's reputation is forever ruined by this, even though we feel in the court of public opinion that Blake might be the troublemaker in all of this based off of past reputation and things? That if people want to sit and protest her movies, I feel like that's when we hurt her at the box office. Whenever she comes out with any project, don't watch it, don't support it, don't put no money behind it. For those who are actually paying attention to all this, I feel like that's when you hurt people in their wallet. So it's like, yeah, you could spend all the money you want on the best lawyers, Diddy, and still get away with stuff, allegedly, Diddy, because that's where a lot of people think that that's where that case is going to go, that he may get off. He needs to pay somehow based off of what he did to Cassie alone. But when it comes down to it, it's like, yeah, the only way that I feel like we fight back is by hurting them in their pocket. Don't support anything that Blake Lively puts out. Make sure it all flops. So let me know what you guys think of this story in the comments down below. Blake is making herself look okay. She is the biggest damn Karen. Give credit, but warning, Zach Peter voted for Trump, and the Queen is a huge supporter of them. Maha movement and finding a cure for autism. Yeah, autism could be. Oh my God, when you have a bunch of mental patients running the insane asylum, it's just like logic and actual education and information. It's just hard to pierce through that. Miss Reynolds serving theater kid faggotry. Okay. Boy kind of definitely does work. Ask Tarjay. Because they still out here hurting. And then it was somehow that there's some Jewish organizations or whatever that's not giving money for Pride. I said, Pride don't want y'all Zionist blood money. So quiet as it's kept, all these other organizations that decided to pull out, screw y'all. We don't need y'all money. I keep telling y'all Pride was a protest. It has never been about, how much money somebody's been throwing or corporations that want to throw money behind our events. Like, we started out as a protest. I mean, we wouldn't have got, you think the Stonewall riots was sponsored by some bank or some corporation? No, it was trans girls and faggots that were sick and tired of being sick and tired and being picked on by the police and all these other people. We need to go back to that. And I feel like we are going back to that. Now, speaking of Taylor Swift and being caught up in Travis and all that, I mean, not Travis, being caught up in Tay-Tay, I mean, what is that girl name? We just talked about her. Blake Lively and all that other mess. Let's get into it, because word on the curb is some people out here, and that be Swifties, believe that Travis Kelce and Tay-Tay are actually Mr. and Mrs. Kelce. So yeah, there's a rumor that's going around because they went to a recent wedding and all this other stuff, and based off of an invitation, that Taylor Swift and Travis Kelce are actually husband and wife. So I don't know if it's 110% something we could believe, but let's get into it. Let's entertain it, because Page Six and all of them was talking about it. So now Chicago Bears player Cole Kmet's event planner, Ellie Notoli, shared details on his Saturday wedding to Emily Jarosz, revealing that Kelce and Swift were on the guest list. The planner revealed the personalized touches at the ceremony, including a letter that was addressed to Taylor and Travis Kelce in elegantly calligraphy. with the Table 13 assignment, saying, quote, "We all know Taylor and Travis were at a different wedding in Tennessee." This is what Natoli said in an Instagram story video on Monday. But each guest had an envelope that was adhered to a beautiful backdrop, and Emily wrote love notes to all her guests. The letter reveal sent several fans into a frenzy over the possibility that Swift and Kelce had already said "I do." And here's the thing: why is the wedding planner out here spilling people tea like you are nosy? And I guess they would be like, "Well, Taylor gonna be mad," but I'm like, here's the thing: the wedding planner worked for them other people, so her spilling that tea, that's not gonna hurt her. So they said, so one person gushed, "Taylor and Travis Kelce, excuse me?" However, not everyone was convinced. They said this is very common for couples married and unmarried for weddings. It's the aesthetic. And yeah, that could be true too. That yeah, even when you're not married, if you're in a relationship with someone, they're gonna put Taylor and Travis Kelce. They don't want to put Taylor Swift and like that's too much to put on the envelope. And especially when you write it in that fancy calligraphy, it's like, yeah, we're just gonna put it together, even though technically y'all not married, but y'all pretty much are like a married couple. So they don't think they tied the knot. And do y'all think that if Taylor Swift and Travis Kelce did get married, that they would have did something similar to like Eddie Murphy and Martin Lawrence's Child, where it's like, oh no, the kids went in the low because you know they had to tell slow ass Screamer for Hudson for like 9 times. They went and eloped. They didn't get married like in front of like a bunch of people and had the big celebration, the party and the parade and all that other mess. You know, the pomp and circumstance that a lot of y'all like to do. And you screaming for slow ass, not listening. Really? You still not gonna sing at the wedding? You know, that was her. And it's like, bitch, I told you like 9 times they got engaged. Hence, there is not going to be a wedding. They're already married. Clean the wax out your you know, screaming for. That's what you want to keep doing. And it's like, bitch, if you don't listen, I done told you a dozen times already. They got engaged. They went and eloped. There is no wedding. The wedding already happened. So there's not going to be a big thing. I'm not singing party all the time at the damn wedding. I don't know how I got caught up in this Eddie Murphy. But anyway, let's move it on back to Tay Tay and Travis Kelce. But hold on, because I want to show y'all the actual invitation, because I know it's in a little thing, but I did get a bigger situation. So yeah, if you could probably read, it says Table 13, Taylor and Travis Kelce. They were supposed to be at the wedding, but yeah, they didn't go to the wedding because it was just like they went off and they were at another wedding. And that was, I believe, Travis's cousin, Tanner Coram, had a wedding on Friday, and they were in Knoxville, Tennessee, where he exchanged vows with Samantha Peck during their countryside wedding. So they showed social media pics of the famous couple where they showed Tay Tay in a blue floral dress. And I was like, damn, I wish I would have had the photo. I didn't think to put a photo and stuff up in here, but we could go back to the other photo. Where it's like, you see Miss Tay Tay in her little blue dress over here on the side with Travis. First of all, I like Travis's hair. He definitely is giving, you know, he's back in his white boy era. I mean, I like the fade when he had that, even though I was getting pissed off when y'all was calling that the Travis Kelce. It's which I'm not gonna do. It's stood up in here called a tapered fade, a damn Travis Kelce. Because that has been something that I've been getting fade since before, you know, I would have said before speech replaced sign language. But, you know, since I was a kid, I've always been getting fades. And that has been a New York thing in the urban community when you've been going to the barbershops. You're not going to sit up here and rename something that we started up out here in the hood as a Travis Kelce. But nevertheless, he's out here looking good. He lost a lot of weight. He's looking young and youthful, and Tay Tay and him is living their best life until, I guess, she drops new music, goes out on tour, whatever the case is. I did hear a rumor that isn't she supposed to be jumping on isn't there supposed to be like a remix of, what is it, How Bad Do You Want Me, which everybody says sounds like a Taylor Swift song. And apparently she's on the remix, which I definitely think is smart on Gaga's part, because post Abracadabra, she could use a hit right now. And you know, she's got the tour coming up in New York in August, which is going to be like the busiest month for me, because between what is it? The U.S. Open, city, the Mets, the Yankees, and Lady Gaga performing 6 shows. Ooh, it's gonna be a mess. But anyway, so that's all I got to say on that whole situation. So I definitely want to hear from y'all. What do you guys think of this story? Do you think that Travis Kelce and Taylor Swift are married? I think it is much ado about nothing. I think the sleuths are out here sleuthing and getting a little too excited. And until Tay Tay comes out and says that she and Travis are Mr. and Mrs. Kelce, we could just peg this as rumor. So let me know what you guys think of this story in the comments down below. All right, so let's see what people saying. Walmart and other stores are saying to shareholders, we're not letting go of DEI. That Target backlash show they don't exactly, because Target is Targeting right now. I have not set foot in a Target since the boycott has begun. And if I need to go and get things that I need that are very Target-esque, what does Target really have that I would need? I mean, you can go to a Walgreens, a CVS, you can go to any of these other places and get the same damn thing. Although I order all my stuff online, because one of the things I don't like about any of these stores, the pharmacies, even down to the Target, everything is locked up. So I'm like, am I in a department store or am I in jail? So, or, like a regular store. So it's just annoying. I don't want to keep pressing buttons for people to come unlock stuff so I can get shampoo, deodorant, and all this other stuff. It's annoying. I don't need people all up in my business. I just want to be able to buy my stuff, do the stuff, check out, and go about my day. But y'all want to lock every damn thing up like this is jail. And I'm like, am I at Target or at Rikers? So it's a waste of my time, in my opinion. So I don't want to deal with the headache of that. Although they are putting a lot of Targets in Manhattan. So I wonder if they are, hurting. You said a lot of people were being weird about Taylor and Travis out at a gathering with non-famous people. She does that all the time. Like, I don't understand why y'all think, like, Taylor Swift doesn't hang out with normies. She does. Like, yeah, you know of her celebrity friends, but you have been seeing her a lot hanging out with Travis's family. Travis has been hanging out with her family. She's been going to regular people weddings. Like, Taylor Swift is, even though she is one of the biggest pop stars on the planet, she has found what I think Beyonce has not been able to do. She's found a way to be able to have some sense of a normal life amid all the chaos. Beyonce be out here just doing her shows, performing, and then she goes into hiding. Like she's the groundhog that comes out to see a shadow. Like that's what Beyonce gives. But it's like Taylor, like, nope, I'm gonna go out to this restaurant, I'm gonna eat, I'm gonna have me a good time, I'm gonna go and hang out at this event, I'm gonna go to this person's wedding. Like I'm gonna still live my best life. I'm gonna find some sort of normalcy, and kudos to her for being able to find that balance. Mm-hmm. Can you imagine? Like he up in there singing "Party All the Time" at the wedding of his kids. Just listen to Lavender Haze. I don't think she wants to get married. Well, weddings are expensive. I don't think that's a whole nother conversation for a whole nother day in regards to my whole views on marriage. But it's I have gone into Target. I have. Wait, you saying you haven't? I haven't gone into Target in months. I only went to spend my last gift card and dipped. When was that? You said I want CC to add pre-orders. And look, yesterday, speaking of which, she was at the BET Awards, and I was looking real close at her stomach. I was like, I know Mr. Wilson didn't put another baby up in her. So I was looking. I mean, yeah, the legs was thick. Like who also was looking a little thickums, but not bad because it's like these are sisters they over the age of 40. So I'm not expecting them to be out here looking like they've been victims of the Manjaro and the Ozempic. But Maya was thick in all the right places, and Ashanti was thick in all the right places, and Cece was looking good. Like I told her, I've been seeing her a couple of times, but she's come to the playoffs with the Knicks, who I'm sure you already heard they fired the coach. That was a big conversation when I went back to work. It was like, damn, they just fired the Knicks head coach because they just went and they're looking at Jason Kidd, which I know some people are not happy about that. And I hope they would. Can y'all please bring DiFrancesco back? Y'all need shooters on y'all team. Y'all think Deuce McBride is a damn shooter. They keep missing them damn 3-pointers. It's like, no, we need some actual shooters that hit it every time. Kind of like they was doing with the damn Pacers. You said so. Yeah, CC. I definitely looking forward to hearing the new album. I hope it's good. Because I've been kind of disappointed with a lot of Sierra's, later music. So maybe she's working on putting the finishing touches on it. But yeah, when I was looking at her now, her cute little skirt that she had on last night, she ain't look pregnant to me. Unless that skirt was hiding it well. You saying Joe something? I don't know his last name. Wait, what was we talking about again? I be having conversations and stuff in here and stuff I be saying, and as soon as it comes out of sight, out of mind, I be forgetting. We said she's chilled and we can have an intelligent conversation. She's pushed the album to August 22nd because it was according to Apple Music coming out July. Maybe it wasn't ready yet. Like people aren't receptive to the singles, whatever the case is. So who knows why it was pushed back? But when you independent, you can do whatever you want with your music. All right, y'all. So now let's move on. And speaking of Tay, let's get to her. Let's talk about her bestie, Scooter Braun. No, it's me being messy. So, you already know Tay got her, original albums, all the other stuff. She got the rights back, all that stuff. We've been celebrating the fact that yes, she owns the rights to her first 6 albums. There was drama with her and Scooter Braun, and people were trolling him on social media regarding, her getting her, the rights to her music back. And he did put out a diplomatic answer on it. He was like, I'm happy for her and all this stuff. But yeah, he recently did an interview where he talked about Taylor Swift. He also talked about where he stands in his relationship with Justin Bieber. He also talked about his relationship with his ex-wife, Yael Cohen, and all that good stuff. So yeah, so let's get into the Diary of a CEO podcast where he basically talked about it. So I don't know if a lot of people, and yeah, a lot of people are aware of like the whole situation regarding Taylor and Scooter. So here's the thing. He said in the interview that around the time when he bought Big Machine from Scott Borchetta, which basically included all of Taylor's masters. He said, and you already, like we said, she bought back her catalog and stuff. It's 300 something million, I believe, that she paid for it. I believe somebody's told me in the comments before. Y'all can drop down in the comments again with the exact number. But he said that at the time he had met Taylor only a handful of times, and he thought that once he bought Big Machine, that it was like she would be able to see, like, I'm not like, anybody else. Like, you could basically see me for the person I am. But I feel like I'm jumping the gun a little bit. So what people don't know is that, or maybe you do know, but those who don't, Scooter was managing Kanye at the time, and he was also managing Justin Bieber. And I believe Taylor did not get along with, of course, Kanye because of the history and everything that he did. When we really weren't familiar with Taylor at the time, she won over Single Ladies at the VMAs. He got his drunk ass up on stage when he was dating that old football-headed ass bitch, Amber Rose. So he got up on stage and with, Hennessy down, I don't know how much he was drinking at the time, said that Beyonce is the best art, had the best music video of all time, pissed a lot of people off. We really was not familiar with Taylor Swift at the time, but I believe that because he did that, they made people pay a lot more attention to Taylor Swift and her music. So in a way that kind of helped. But we all know that in Taylor's career, she's been able to parlay it into what it is today. So we can give Kanye a little bit of, thank you for putting her, getting her on the people's radar and paying more attention to her. But her music and her catalog and everything speaks for itself. So he said that because he was managing Kanye, because he was managing the Biebs, that he thought that, okay, I'm coming into Big Machine, should be able to kind of look at me in a way where it's like, I'm not like those other people. However, I'm gonna play devil's advocate because if I was in Taylor's shoes, I'm looking at you like you being messy. Now, of course, with him being white and male, of course he's not gonna see beyond his own privilege. See beyond the whole businessman standpoint. You're looking at it as a business like, oh yeah, I'm coming in the Big Machine and I'm gonna do Taylor a big one. It's like, yeah, I'm in the label, but no, it's like I'm looking at you like, okay, what are your intentions? I feel like you're being petty. I feel like you're being shady. That you did this on purpose. Now I'm this is how I'm thinking. Now I'm getting emotional. I'm in my feelings about it. So I'm Team Tay on this whole situation. Like when I'm looking at a Scooter, I'm like, oh no, you're being messy, and now I can't trust you. And so now I feel like that is why she was the way she felt the way she felt. So, and then not only that, but it's just like, with the Swifties jumping on top of that, that's gonna heighten everything times, not even times 10, times 28 or times 30. So you already know them adding on top, piling on top of the betrayal with Taylor. You already know how the Swifties is going to come. So he said something. He said that he claimed that he asked Borchetta for Swift's phone number following the Big Machine deal. While he was calling artists on the label, Swift dropped her open letter on Tumblr regarding the Big Machine sale. He said, I was just shocked. I don't need to go back into it, but what I can tell you is everything in life is a gift. Having that experience allows me to have empathy for the people I work with who I would always say, yeah, I understand, but I never knew what it was like to be on the global stage like that. I never knew what criticism like that felt like. He also revealed the biggest gift he got was from the very public situation. He said, all the praise I had received up until that moment was not deserved. All the hate I got after that moment was not deserved because none of these people knew me. The gift of pain was awareness. Yeah, the fact that you lacked it. And that's why I feel like that's where Taylor came at you with the Tumblr post and the Swifties came at you because they're like, your lack of self-awareness in this situation, because you're thinking from a business standpoint, and now the fact that, yeah, you are representing Taylor, not Taylor Swift, you're representing Kanye and his bullshit, and you're representing Taylor, the other one, Justin Bieber, who's out here acting like a petulant child in a lot of the stuff. He's very immature. She's looking at this like, okay, like I said before, what are your intentions? You out here doing this stuff on purpose and being messy. So what was the whole point of you like buying Big Machine? I would feel like because I'm the biggest star on that label, and if there's any other bigger artists besides Taylor Swift on Big Machine, let me know. But when we think of Big Machine, it is affiliated with Taylor Swift. We don't know nobody. I don't know nobody else on that damn label but her. And when you're looking at her as like someone who's the biggest thing to come from Big Machine, oh, you want a piece of that pie that she helped create. Or that I would say, well, since we in food metaphors, I should probably say the biggest pie that she helped bake, not make. Let's change that M to a B. But he said that everyone moves on. I choose to see it as a gift. I choose to see it as being able to have a perspective that very few people in the world have of knowing what that's like, of feeling that on a global level. Now, we don't need to get into his marriage because I so don't care about his marriage. But let's get into what his thoughts are on where he stands with the Biebs. So Braun said he had a clear vision of Bieber's success after watching the singer cover videos on YouTube. He said no one believed me, noting that Bieber's tone and charisma are what allowed the story to unfold. He says, quote, they put it on the line for me too. They believed in a 25-year-old kid. This is what he said of Bieber and his family. We were able to achieve some amazing things, and I'm very proud of what we achieved and always rooting for him. He also admitted that his relationship with Bieber is not the same as it was when they worked together. As you know, they parted ways professionally back in 2023. So Scooter is no longer Justin Bieber's manager. He also said, quote, I think there comes a point where I understand he probably wants to go on and show that he can do it. We worked together for so long, we had some extreme success. I think you get to a point as a man where you want to show the world you could do it on your own. I completely respect that. I think at this point, that's what he's doing. Well, can you show me where where on this body were you abused? Well, that's me trying to make a joke. But I need you to show me where is he trying to do it on his own? Because Justin out here smoking bongs all damn day and getting mad at paparazzi for following him and posting weird ass subliminal messages on social media, which is having us thinking that he and Hailey Bieber are on the verge of divorce. So I want to know where, as I said, point to me on the dummy that you were touched inappropriately. That's my metaphor of me saying, where is Justin Bieber proving that he can do this thing on his own? Because I don't see it. I see Justin out here being messy on social media and posting subliminal messages on his Instagram, which got people wondering, get some help. Are you getting a divorce? Like, Miley was good. Like, we want to know what's going on. We confused. We are confusion. So yeah, and then he also said at this point it had been a couple of years where I knew I wanted to do something else and I wanted to find out who I was. I wanted to experiment with, a different career, and we're both communicating enough with each other. The writing is on the wall. So I guess that was him talking about like why he's going off and doing something else. I'm like I said, I'm confused in this whole situation, but it was like, yeah, I'm glad you went and told your side and you put it out there. I still believe that, what the Swifties probably still feel like you are low down dirty dog. They still don't particularly care for you. But I'm glad you came out here and told your side of the story, whether or not they here for it or not. But so good luck to you, Mr. Braun. So I say all this to say, what do you guys think of this story in regards of what Scooter had to say about his relationship? Which they would have mentioned, like, what's the tea between him and Miss Grande? Because wasn't he managing her as well? Like, I would have liked to learn some stuff from that. I didn't watch the thing. I just saw I just got the highlights. So I don't know if she was even mentioned, but it would have been nice to hear, like, what's your relationship with Ariana? Because you're not managing her either. But isn't she a part of one of his little like businesses or something or another? So I would like to know what's their situation like. So yeah, I definitely want to hear from y'all what y'all think of this story. So let me know what your thoughts are in the comments down below. Oh, you said you didn't read my first comment. You were talking about Sierra while it was on the screen. Oh, I probably did miss it. Hold on. Oh wait, so that's what you're talking about. You were talking about Miss C. I probably didn't. I probably did miss it, but hold on. Okay, let's continue. You said all the albums are now under her name on Spotify, Apple Music, but Scooter, sir, it's more than just Taylor. There's more like Ariana, others that made me hate you. You said 360 million due to value being deep. Oh, okay. A researcher from Wuhan, China. Wasn't that where allegedly we got COVID? Isn't that the center of where COVID started? Was arrested in the US on grounds of terrorism, aka okay. That's weird. Is that the ultimate chop ho Demi Lovato? Nah. And you said signed with Scooter and wasn't she included in there's a picture that's going around on social media where with Mariah Carey, and I think I posted on my social media as a meme, and it said then came these hating assholes, and one of them was Demi Lovato. He said signed with Scooter in 2020 after everything happened with him and Taylor. Notice how she hasn't had any hit songs all decade long. Mm-hmm. It was there was somebody similar to that in that same situation. Oh, I was Jennifer Lopez. It's like ever since she, Tommy Mottola stopped, stealing songs and giving it to her, she ain't had a hit since. FYI, he bought Big Machine for 300 million and sold her catalog only for the price he bought. That made him, in my opinion, more evil. Mm-hmm. Well, look, she got it back, so she get the last laugh. But Demi had the time to come out as non-binary and then me reading this has got me thinking about that JoJo Siwa story that I got coming up. Because it's giving similarities in regards of this whole, I'm non-binary 1 minute, I'm this and that. I'm gonna save it for when we get to that because I'm team Miley Cyrus and what she had to say. I'll just leave it at that. Then until we get to that story. She is a child. Great voice, but girl, anybody check it to you. And now she married to a whole man now, so it's like, okay, whatever, girl. But it's like, yeah, she got married and nobody cared. Now, speaking of careers that nobody cares about, let's get into Katy Perry. Oh, that was a good segue. So, Katy Perry, the singer who thought she ate by going into space for 11 minutes, is reportedly stressed about the lack of success regarding her dated pop album 143 and a disaster of a tour. Now, word on the street is, and I could have sworn that I talked about this before, but since People Magazine is reporting on it, and this is like the major trade, this is not like Daily Mail, which we've entertained a lot of their shenanigans, and Page Six. Or something. When you look at People is like up there with Variety and like many of people have come out as homosexuals in People magazine. So I think that we could take what they're saying. So like Variety, the Hollywood Reporter, Deadline, Entertainment Weekly, like I think people would be up there in that whole situation where they be getting the exclusives. So I think that, excuse me, in this case, we could probably take what they're saying is this might be some real tea. And look at Orlando Bloom back in when he was cute. Child, being married to this succubus, it looked like she done sucked all the youth out that man. And he's 48. But he looked like she put him through it. Or is putting him through it. And according to this story, apparently she is. So now Insider is told People, they said, quote, Katy was deeply frustrated following the reception of her new album 143, which came out in September. It made her very stressed and is showing in Orlando's face. Now, Orlando was understanding, but it did cause some tension. A second source adds that Perry, who is currently on her Lifetime's World Tour, said, quote, she was also disappointed in some of the tour reviews. It put stress on their relationship. Despite any previous negative reviews, it has impacted the international shows. It hasn't, I should say, impacted the internet. Well, they'll show up to an envelope open at this point because I think, like, when it comes down to the U.S. versus international tours, I think basically our attitude is we get everything over here anyway. So many people love or are willing to tour in the United States that I think a lot of times we take our artists for granted. I mean, don't get me wrong, it definitely helps me out because I get paid to work a lot of these shows. And Katy Perry is coming to Madison Square Garden, which is where I work, in August. So, internationally, they don't get a lot of bookings and stuff over there, or a lot of artists perform overseas. So whenever they get shows and stuff over there, they're happy to get somebody. And even if Katy Perry's tour is a mess, which that a lot of people have been reporting on TikTok and things of that nature, people are still going to show up. Now, yeah, it has, as I said, it has an impact on her international shows, and the tour sold out 3 nights in Mexico, leading Perry to add an extra date. The current Australian leg is also completely sold out. She next brings the show to the U.S. beginning with a July 10th stop in Denver. When she released her latest album, which the Lifetime's tour is supporting, Perry noted in a statement that her vision was to create a bold, exuberant, celebratory dance pop album with the symbolic 143 numerical expression of love throughout as a through line message. The album title 143 refers to the retro shorthand of I love you via pager communication. Now, I should point out that reps for Perry and Bloom did not respond to people's requests for comment about the couple's rough patch. Well, she's busy on tour. She ain't got time to be to be I got lint on this mic. I have to take that over with. She ain't got time to be reporting on, you know, speculation about her relationship. They said that the Teenage Dream Singer has been taking the negativity in stride. In February, she spoke to People about the negative criticism she received for the album, saying, quote, you shouldn't read it when it's good. You should read it when it's bad. Well, that's always been the thing with Katy, is like regardless of what people say about her, she lives in her own little universe. She lives in her bubble, and she doesn't hear what people are trying to say to her. Like, even when there were opportunities where she knew that Dr. Luke was problematic, she decided to work with him anyway because she was desperate for a hit. And we have yet to hear or get a hit off 143. The album sounds dated. It sounds like watered down dance pop. Like nobody's listened to the type of genre. Like she's still stuck in 2012 with a lot of the music she's coming out with. There's like house music, dance music, EDM, whatever the hell you want to call it today, has evolved so much since the Teenage Dream era. And I feel like she could have evolved her sound. It's like with Lady Gaga. Lady Gaga went back to a sound that put her on the map. The whole Fame, Monster, Born This Way era, she went back to that. And instead of it sounding like a retread of that sound, she elevated it lyrically and sonically. So say what you want about Lady Gaga's latest album, Mayhem. Almost forgot the damn name of it. Say what you want about Mayhem, but when you listen to the record, it definitely sounds like that. It taps into that genre, but it takes it to the next level. So that's what Katy Perry should have been looking at. But she thought by getting back with Dr. Luke that he was going to help her get back to the thing that made her famous. But it just sounds a mess. It sounds dated, and people aren't really here for it. But then you have those who are in the Katy Perry, that bubble of we're hating on her because of the whole Dr. Puke situation, and they just are here for the music. And some people like that old dated sound. Hence why her tour is doing well overseas. Or, well, I don't know if the album's doing well. I would say the tour. Let's focus on the tour. The tour is doing well. They already said it's sold out in Mexico. They added, it's sold out in Australia. Quiet as it's kept. I think based off the travel alone from the U.S. to Australia, not a lot of artists or Americans are even going over to Australia unless you're Pink. They're the only ones going, there's very few that's over because, there ain't nobody trying to get on it. And Kylie Minogue, but that's Kylie Minogue's hometown. Like, she's always going to do Australia. And I believe she's going to be going over there with her Tension tour. But then again, also, so it's the tone deafness of it all. Then it's the Jeff Bezos Blue Origin flight where they felt like she was tone deaf with that, where she basically gave a little, she licked the tip, just the tip of space, and then came back down to Earth in like 12 minutes. And then she started the whole human pinata thing. When, girl, you should have just said, do you ever feel like a plastic bag? If you would have just did that, instead of talking about, when the world tries to make me a human pinata, I take it with grace and send them love, because so many people are hurting in so many ways, and the internet is very much such a dumping ground for unhinged and unhealed. Like I said, if you would have just said, do you ever feel like a plastic bag? And use it as a damn metaphor, like play into your own songs, that probably would have went over better than you saying this old tone deaf ass feeling like a damn human pinata. It's like, no, girl, you know what it feels like to be a plastic bag because you wrote it in a song instead of using a pinata. Was that like a dig at Mexicans or whatever? So it's like, whatever. But I feel like at this point, there's nothing really else I can add to this that I haven't already added to in the many conversations when I've talked about this topic regarding Katy Perry and this Lifetime's era, the tour being a mess, the album being uninspired and boring, and just like the lack of creativity that's in that, and then the whole Team Katy Perry versus Team Kesha and that whole drama. It's just like there's nothing really else to add to it. And then, her, this thing that she has where it's like buying houses at the behest of people who have had to suffer at the hands. The nun who died because you were trying to buy up the place that they were staying at, and then the old man with dementia and all that drama, the lack of human compassion that she allegedly has when it's outside of the music. So it's a lot. But I say to all of you, what do you guys think of this story regarding Katy Perry stressing over the fact that this Lifetime's tour and the album 143 is not doing what she expected it to do, and her allegedly taking the stress out on her baby daddy because they ain't married? That's her fiance still. So let me know what you guys think of this story in the comments down below. Okay, y'all. Let's see. I'm starting to regret right now that I did not put this little fan on while I was, doing the show. So it's a little hot in this situation. Billy is bi, but JoJo gets a sock. I mean, what we actually believe about, we believe Billie Eilish with her fluidity. JoJo, it feels very much like you putting on airs. They said Billie was getting a lot of ish this weekend because she was spotted kissing some man. Her haters expect her to date a girl after releasing songs like Lunch and a bunch of insecure. Look, if Billie Eilish is bisexual and she's into guys and girls, then that's her business. Do we believe, even though she's supposed to be exploring this on her upcoming album, that Lorde might be fluid as well, even though she hasn't really come out and said like she's got those tendencies, whatever? But I feel like some of the conversations that have been floating around with Lorde, that there might be some fluid, and she give me fluid tease when I be looking at her. Like, I do not feel like when I look at Lorde, she is all the way for like men. Like, I feel like she's very vague when it comes to talking about sexuality and stuff. Tension tour launched in Australia back in February. So she did the Australia leg. Okay. Because I was like, I forgot where she's been going. Look, Kylie been everywhere. But I will say this. I have to give it up to Miss Tay Tay because she has kind of normalized this whole taking breaks in between tours. Because I see a lot of artists are doing it, and I feel like if I was in a situation like a Taylor Swift, a Kylie, whatever, if I'm going to be doing a long ass tour that's going to have me going around the world for 2 years, I definitely want to be like, okay, I need 2-week breaks. If I'm going to be touring for like, if I tour for a whole month or whatever, and it's like I'm doing a lot of those shows, I need like a 2-week break in between, and then we can get back into it. Like, I don't want to take a full break, but it's like I got to be on break for a month. I was like, I'll do it 2 weeks. 2 weeks is good enough for me. And it's like, let's get back to it. We'll do like a rehearsal for 2 days, just so that way I get get back on the hamster wheel and get used to like, okay, we gotta do a 2-day rehearsal. So I'm here for that. Because that'll definitely keep me happy. It'll keep the art, it'll keep the studio happy. It'll keep everybody happy. It ain't. Oh, okay, yeah. I know it's like at the end of the summer. Maddie revealed on Fact Talk today that World of Wonder may have public. We are going to get into that because I did watch a bit of Fact Talk. I watched that segment, and I also watched where she talked about NeNe leaks. So we're gonna get into. I didn't watch the whole thing because I actually had to start the live. Because when I went and rewinded it back, I was in the middle of catching up on all of that. Because I was watching the BET Awards, and I was watching, and then I had to jump on and throw Fact Talk on because Fact Talk was on while I was watching the BET Awards. So I didn't get to watch the whole, even the whole thing, but I got enough of what she was saying, and I'll probably watch the whole episode later when this is over. But I got a bit of what she had to say, but I'm gonna definitely get my piece of the situation. Of course, RuPaul will force an apology. Watch RuPaul slam her and sue her for being transparent with the audience. I think Lord may actually fall into the non-binary. Yeah, she definitely gives me non-binary teas. Or they give me, well, I don't know what her pronouns are, but if she's still identifying with she, her pronouns, because even non-binary people, they use she, her, or she, they. Because I believe that Sato Ramirez does she, they. So there are some. It just depends on the person. You said this episode of Fact Talk rubbed me the wrong way, but that's oh, you was watching too? You said not them me. That's funny though. Them me. All right, them me Lovato. They said European leg is June 16th to July 18th. Okay, Mr. Calendar. All right. Oh, funny enough, we sitting there talking about Miss Lanithia Monique Leaks. Let's get into it. That was the next topic. Well, look at y'all keeping me on track of what the topics are. So yeah, so since we are talking a bit about the faggot talk situation, I do want to pinpoint something because y'all was up in here saying that World of Wonder made Maddie apologize. Actually, in when she was on Fact Talk earlier, Maddie said that World of Wonder did not put her up to apologizing. In fact, she said that RuPaul understands what it's like being a woman. She called her a woman of color. Being, as a drag queen, all this stuff, how in this space that when you say things to people, how they want to have you get canceled, they want to call for you to be removed from Drag Race because he had made Maddie made a comment about, I don't remember what the whole gist of the conversation was, but somebody jumped in the comments and said something towards T.S. Madison. And Maddie was basically like, well, you need to hide up under the bed because ICE is going to come get you. Like something or another like that. And people felt like, oh, you out here saying like stuff like that. But it's like, y'all be windmilling her in the comments. You already know, like, Maddie's gonna come up here and say something, and then got into the whole breakdown of Latinos who sit out here, I will vote for Donald Trump. Like, y'all be so quick to do that because y'all want that closer proximity to whiteness. But then a lot of you Cubans and I know blacks, Dominicans, and or one of my friends says Dominicans, but that's a whole nother. And he is Latino, so he be saying it. Let me not be out here snitching on my friends. But so yeah, when some of y'all be out here just going in and letting have and voting against your own personal interest because like, oh no, I'm legal, so they're not gonna come for me. They're coming for everybody. They don't give a good goddamn if you are of here or not of here. They want everybody out because don't even get me started on the whole colonization of this country from indigenous people and all that. But we can go into a whole history lesson, but I just want to focus on this at hand. So she did address all of that stuff. So she said no, she took it upon herself at Pride to apologize to the Drag Race girls because she didn't want them to think in that sort of way. But I have to say this, Maddie, I understand that you from Miami and or Florida or whatever the case, and I know how y'all fight out there. Like y'all, everybody gets it. I get all of that. However, you have to think that when you are on a specific platform, y'all can't be out here just crazy with the mouth like that. But then again, I always tell people, you cannot poke the bear and tell the bear how mad to get. Because at the end of the day, these people are human. And when you are in a space like T.S. Madison is, where her whole bread and butter is going in and letting have on, you know, being a public figure, having her own talk show, that sort of thing, she is putting herself out here on the line for her audience. So when y'all be up in the comments just clipping things and putting it on Reddit and then starting this whole outrage, like at least have the whole nuance, have everything, all your I's dotted, all your T's crossed, all that good stuff, so that way we know what the T is. Instead of y'all just going with a clip and y'all be ready to, you know, come up. Y'all want people head on a pike because they said something you don't agree with, but you be out here saying crazier stuff. Now, what if somebody will go and report what you saying to your job and then you lose your job, but because they public figures? And then she was also saying like, even if they was to fire me from World of One on those other stuff, like I would still get a bag. So, and y'all only know her from Drag Race, but I've been following Miss Mama since her Vine days, 22 inches of weed. So Maddie been around here for a long time, but nevertheless, she talked about that, but then she also got into the whole NeNe leak situation. So for those of you who are not familiar with what's going on, apparently people are out here calling NeNe leaks transphobic because of a comment that she made, especially about men who sleep with trans women. And I feel like, well, I'll give my overall opinion if I think NeNe is transphobic, especially because, you know, a lot of people think, oh, here we go, when it comes to these Black women who sit up here and use gay men as accessories. Y'all, you know, you like us when we can kiki with y'all, when we doing it, when we you know, gluing y'all lace fronts down and we beating y'all faces when y'all out here looking like you can compete with the drag queens and the dolls. But then when it really comes out down to the situation of supporting queer people, all of a sudden, the real side of y'all come out. So I do have the clip. I was like, please tell me. I was like, wait, what happened to the clip? Because I was been real mad if I would have lost the whole situation. So yeah, I found it over there on the Twitter. We're gonna sit over here and play. If y'all want to see it's funny how this is the second NeNe Leakes interview that we talked about on this show, where I was like, first it was Tamar and some of the stuff that she was going in on, Big Back Cadillac and all that mess. And now we got this whole situation, which is rubbing a lot of people the wrong way. So yeah, so let's go to the video. Hold on, let's find the clip and we'll come back and we'll talk. So
do you only know gay men?
Well, I don't date gay men.
Well, okay, well, I you know when you guys be saying that, that's weird.
Why?
Because what do you mean you don't date gay men? Because if he is sleeping with you and sleeping with a woman, he's something.
Well, he's not gay.
What is he?
He's definitely not gay.
He's bi?
Listen, because if a man come in here and he looks at me and you,
Yeah. What is he?
Well, he likes women.
Yeah, because he doesn't know.
And if he does know, he likes women.
Okay.
Now,
so, but what is he?
Well, that would possibly, it's a possibility.
He's bisexual?
He could be bi or he could be pan.
Okay, guys.
You know, a lot of men are
Yeah.
a lot of men are pan, but they don't say anything. Like
I don't want to run into them. I don't want to date him.
NeNe, if you've dated
I need you to like
NeNe, if you've
Hello
dated
Kitty all the time.
If you've dated men,
Yes.
if you've dated men, there's a possibility in your life that
He's been with a man.
he's been with something.
What do you mean he's been with something?
He's been outside. I mean, here's the thing. I know that women consider trans women men because we were born male. But there's a difference between being man and male.
I get it. But you have your part.
That's correct.
So he can love you and think you're so beautiful, and I want to sleep with you.
There are men who deal with me that won't touch my parts. Anytime you see
But does he know it's there?
Yeah, he knows it's there. I'm not hiding it.
Oh, you're not?
No.
I mean, that
Listen,
wouldn't make any sense.
Well, I've had gentlemen to tell me, hey, put a pillow over that. And I'm like, well, you're not the nigga for me. You don't have to touch it and deal with it, but I'm not hiding shit from you.
So, okay, wait a minute. We got to go back and figure this out.
Yeah.
So the
Now we
man,
talking.
yeah, so the man going to be sleeping with me and you? I don't want to talk to him no more.
You don't?
Why the hell you going to sleep with me then going to sleep
Well,
with
he
you
got
for?
men like variety.
Oh, please. I
Oh.
don't want him.
Well, shit. I mean, hey, but it's happening.
I'm
Like,
over it.
But these things, this is what women.
That's why I'm not even dating. I mean,
All right, y'all. So yeah, so there was that. And I feel like with some of that being said, that rubbed a lot of people the wrong way because they made, first of all, I feel like on NeNe's ignorance, first of all, I'm glad that she had the conversation. And because there's a lot of women who feel the way that she does. And I think that in that context, women think that if a man gets with a trans woman, then that means he's gay, he's bisexual, he's pansexual. Y'all always want to put a label on what it is. These men just like, when you look at a trans woman, upon appearance, they are women. There was another thing that I think rubbed me the wrong, and I think this is where rubbing people the wrong way. They think that when it comes down to trans women, that they're tricking these men into getting with them and not telling them that they are trans women. When I tell you this, as somebody who's been a part of the Levitical community and part of 20 years in as an adult, I can tell you, these men know. They know about these girls and their souls being clocked. They are well aware that about these trans girls. So if these men have been, oh, I didn't know, I was tricked. I gotta take your life when we hit those situations because I've been found out or whatever the case is. These men know they want to keep it a secret. That's how you should keep it. If we're gonna quote escape, they want to sit up in there and keep these women as a dirty little secret. And then when NeNe up in here saying like, okay, now if that's not something you want to get with, because we've seen Insecure has covered this stuff when it was like a guy had in his past in college, he had a same-sex encounter and that rubbed one of the characters the wrong way. I believe they did the same story on Sex and the City. And there's a lot of women that get in that mindset, or they think that, oh, if a guy gets with another guy, then he's gay or he's this, he's that. It's like men are experimenting. I think also people need to realize that men are not yours. They're not yours to decide on, or, you don't take ownership of men. If a man says that he is heterosexual, but gets with women and trans women, then that's his attraction. And then her obsession of, but you still got your man's toolbox. She didn't call it that, but that's what we're going to call it here. Oh, you got your man's toolbox. And they know about it? Yeah, she's a chick with a dick. It's not a secret. Maddie tells this all the time on her show. So people are well aware of what she got. She also said when she was on Fag Talk earlier that she believed that speaking of big back Cadillacs, that Michelle A.T. Alien put NeNe up to ask her some of them questions. Because she said that, I guess, in the interview, she was down in the comments and she was saying her little things. So, do she feel that, and do I feel that NeNe is homophobic or transphobic? I don't think she is, but I do feel like, based off of some of her mentality, this is a teachable moment. I do feel like that she needs to understand that the queer spectrum, gender identity, sexual orientation is a lot bigger than what she is aware of. And I don't understand how you living up in Atlanta and you're not that aware of the variety of the LGBTQIA plus community. Like, are you only hanging out with sissies and punks that sit up in here and beat your face like a drag queen and put and glue a lace front down to your head? Like, are those the only people that you hanging around with? Like, are you not aware of, and how you not aware? Like, you know what? If to me, it feels like her interview style is similar to Screaming for Hudson. Really? Oh my God, I heard a birdie tell me that you still got your dick. Is that true? Like, she gives that with her interview style. And I understand the whole talk show thing, but sis, you really got a lot of work cut out for you if you out here trying to do this whole talk show game. And part of it is listening. And so I like the idea that she was asking the questions, but you also have to listen and learn. And if that's not something you want to get with, that, okay, I can't deal with no man that gets with trans women, well, you better move out of Atlanta, quiet as a scat, then, because slim pickings out there. What you get, I guess you only gonna date Nigerians for the rest of your damn life, and even some of them is suspect. So I want to see what some of the people, because I think they were saying like some people in the comments was giving stuff in regards of this. Yeah, so she was saying she wasn't hiding it. And Madison also said it's important to make men feel comfortable to say they find things attractive outside of what society accepts. And she said all women should be taking PrEP. And that is true, because even Tamar said that in a IG post, and people looking at her like she was crazy. It's like, no, PrEP is not only for gay men. Women take it, heterosexuals take it. I know plenty of straight people that take PrEP. And it's like, yeah, you should be on PrEP, you should be on Doechii, you should be on that, on all of that stuff. You should be out here protecting yourselves from all kinds of diseases, including HIV. So there's not still be in their mindset that HIV is a gay man's disease. Because trust and believe, I know plenty of heterosexuals that got it too. And this is from me working for an organization for people who are infected and affected by HIV and AIDS. So yes, and that was 20 some odd years ago when I was working there as a receptionist. But so it was like, yes, I knew, I know the people, and still I go with them this, every year. Shout out to ACQC, who is, the forefront of that. They were just at Queen's Pride. I didn't get to go this year, but usually I'll be marching with them and on their floats and stuff. But anyway, so yeah, so people were going in on NeNe, and T.S. Madison had to get on social media to clarify that the exchange was not a contentious one. She said, fighting with NeNe leaks over my identity, two people sitting down discussing attraction and dating was fighting? Okay. Then she posted a lengthy explainer elaborating on some of the points that she made during the tape interview. So, some people wrote on Twitter, and I'm gonna get to what NeNe had to say because it was lengthy, as the comment made. So they said NeNe Leakes being a transphobic bigot on camera in front of T.S. Madison just irked my soul. You won't irk my soul. You won't irk my soul. They said that woman was never for us. This is what one person wrote on Twitter in reaction to the interview. While another added, NeNe wants to maintain a false sense of privilege and refuse to acknowledge that what men are attracted to when they see her and T.S. Madison is the same thing. Femininity doesn't belong exclusively to cisgendered women, and the some people get mad with the whole cisgender thing, but that is a medical term. So we'll say bi women. And the insecure amongst us can't take that. Please don't get Jess He Not Laria started up, because you already know this is like catnip for her ass. Trans women are women. Her and J.K. Rowling. Now, others defended leaks, with one user noting that NeNe is allowed to not want a man who loves trans women. Yes, exactly. I do agree like that. And do I think that she is transphobic? I don't think that NeNe is transphobic or homophobic. I think she has a lot to learn in regards of our community. And I think that she is uneducated in a lot of ways. And I do think that this is a teachable moment. If she's willing to open herself up and understand that, then I'm here for it. Now, she was out here saying all kinds of crazy stuff towards the trans, which I don't think she is. I just think that in her mind, she's so caught up in, but you got your penis, and like, okay, like, I think a lot of y'all need to get beyond that. Y'all be so obsessed with what people got between their legs. And it's not just NeNe, it just be straight people in general that don't really encounter a lot of trans folks. Maybe I don't see it. And so maybe I see it differently because I've been around trans people since, I was young, especially going, being in New York and going down to the piers and hanging out with the houses and the fagettes and the trans girls and all the other stuff. Houses mean like the house of Aviance, LaBeija, all of them. So, when you are a child of the piers, before the piers was gentrified, we see things differently because I've been around all of that. So, maybe it's different for me because I've been used to being around trans people and being around, my brethren, as I was trying to figure out who the hell I was coming up as a wee little gay. Or as I like to say on this show, homosexual. So yeah, so like I said, yeah, others offended. Other commenters under the interview on YouTube praised Maddie for her willingness to explain things to leaks, saying T.S. Madison is so patient for explaining and educating NeNe on gender, sexuality, and attraction, said one commenter. With another writing, she was so patient and unconfrontational about explaining and educating NeNe and us. And I agree with that. And I feel like we need more of that. Like if Maddie was taking the time to be like, you know what, I hear you, I understand you. I'm not going to go on your platform and curse you out and windmill on you and do all the other stuff. This is a teachable moment for me to actually sit down and educate people who don't actually watch fag talk or follow T.S. Madison around, that have a certain perception of trans people. It's like, no, this is a moment where I can channel my inner Laverne Cox and really come at y'all and speak to you in a way that isn't like ratchet, hood, that sort of thing, which NeNe, I mean, not, well, NeNe stay like that, but where Maddie can, she can go there with that. So anyway, let's shout out the Jasmine brand, because they had the whole situation on what it was that, wait, hold on, let me see if I could. I was like, why is it not coming up? Okay, there it is. Because I was like, I had the thing. So yeah, here's what she said. She said, here are some facts. Let's discuss. Number one, if you are a female that's dated multiple men in your life, it's a possibility that one of those men have experienced something you may deem gay. Number two, trans women are desirable to men who identify as straight as well. Number three, men who identify as gay do not date or desire trans women. That is a fact. Because it's like, if you are feminine, female presenting, and you're a gay man, we ain't trying to fuck no trans woman. Now, I will say this, because there are some trans men out there, and I'll speak for me. There have been many a times where I've looked at trans men, and it's like, yeah, okay, that'd be the only time I'm sticking my dick. And now I've had sex with women in the past. So I'm not a gold star homosexual. But if you are a trans man and you happen to have a coochie, I wouldn't mind sticking, pounding that out, because it's like you are male presenting. So I could totally see in a way that it's like, and there are some straight women who look at gay men and slept with them, or have been like, oh, I would totally hit that, because they're open-minded in that way. So sexuality, gender identity, all of that is nuanced. It is fluid. It is not black and white. And I feel like people need to look at that. We need to take all that religious doctrine, all that hocus pocus BS out of stuff, and just kind of realize that human beings, people in general, are complex. Nothing is black and white. There's a little gray in everything. Even though it's a dour color, well, gray is everything. But let me finish. They said sexual orientation are gay, lesbian, bisexual, and pansexual, among other things, because we have so many damn things. Identities are trans, queer, non-binary, gender non-conforming. Number 6, male and man are different constructs. Number 7, female and women are different constructs. Lastly, PrEP is so needed in all of our communities, not just LGBTQ. Black women, please talk to your PCP about, and that is primary care provider, for those who don't know, about PrEP. Thank you, and NeNe Leakes, for having me on your show. This is a difficult conversation for a lot of people. Thanks for having fun with me. So yeah, I know this is a lot. It is definitely a lot to break down, and I'm with her on that. And yeah, Maddie, I'm glad that you actually took the time to really explain to people, the complexities of sexuality and gender identity. And so, I want to hear from you, respectfully. What do you guys think of this story? Don't put no transphobia, no homophobia, all that other mess. Don't, that God made Adam, because you put that shit up in here, I'm blocking you. So, respectfully, I definitely want to hear from y'all. What do you guys think of this story in regards of, we want grown people with some damn sense putting their comments up in here. So I definitely want to hear from y'all, because we grown, we're mature, and we can have real conversations over here without being nasty, without being rude, and without being messy. But you can be fun messy. Just not messy. So yeah, I definitely want to hear from y'all, but let me know what you guys think of this story in the comments down below. You said, I remember watching, and she said, wow, didn't force her into anything. She said, wow, didn't force her to apologize, but I guess because of everything that she felt, that, you know what, I want to come in and I want to rub my drag race sisters or something the wrong way. But it's like, yeah, once you start to get bigger, you have to realize that all that stuff you was doing before, you got to kind of like curb that a little bit. But she said, yeah, nobody put a gun to her head and said anything. Roulette's, Maddie be Maddie. And they didn't ask her to step down or nothing. I just T.S. Madison prayer discussed the NeNe Leakes on Fact Talk. Yeah, we just talked about that we were some other, because I was giving a bunch of that as conversation. I still feel the same way about NeNe before and after this interview. I think she just didn't know the lingo or how to talk about it to someone who's actually in the community. Mm-hmm. He said, true, I've had trans women before, and female presenting as hell, not my thing. I am confirmed homosexual. Okay. He said, from that interaction, I don't think NeNe is transphobic overall. I do think, however, that she may be transphobic when it comes to hookups and dating. It may be a new brand of and you know what? That is another argument. That is a whole nother argument too. Or another part of the not even an argument, a whole part of the conversation where women do look at it as trans women being competition for them. Damn that bad enough, I gotta compete with women for a man. Then I gotta compete with some of you homosexuals for a man. But now I gotta compete with trans women for a man. So yeah, I'm like, what you thought it was gonna be easy getting some dick? It's like it's all a competition. So, no, I still can't stand Craig. He said he doesn't like being called girl, but he gets bad. He lets Maddie call his old. Well, look, that's what I was saying. Well, that's that. I guess that's his thing. Where it's just like, oh no, you can't call me girl. You can't call me this and the other. But those who I'm close with, you can call me the she her pronouns because that's my sis. That's my good Judy. Or as you say, that's my daughter. So she's not here for that. No way. Still like she give me like oh well, I'm saying she because you know we call men she. But no way gives me twink when I still be looking at him. You said my bad. You know, no, look, that's what we're here for. You know, I have to sometimes correct, but yeah, we're not gonna windmill too hard on you. Everybody's allowed to make mistakes. Yeah, first of all, I make mistakes on this show too. I'm not AI or a damn robot. I make mistakes sometimes. Y'all be having to come in and correct me, and I don't be ready. I don't be, ready to like take y'all heads off. So we forgive you somewhat. Just jokes. But anyway, I was like, let me make sure I close out all my other stuff before we move on to the next. Now, since we was over here talking about trans erasure or transphobia, let's get into this bi foolishness. And let's talk about Miley Cyrus, who is out here getting dragged over a comment that she made about JoJo Siwa, where no shade, but I do not feel like she said anything bad. But the people's out here, of course, they would just be trying to find excuses to go in and let have on somebody and create mountains out of molehills, similar to what T.S. Madison said about y'all trying to come for her job, because she said y'all better hide under the bed because ICE coming to get you because you tried to come for her. And it's like, look, I'm sorry, I'm about to dig into the furthest crust of your situation if I want to hurt your feelings. So yeah, if you come at me with some crazy shit, trustably, I'm gonna use an ICE read on you too. But speaking of this, let's get into this. So Miss Hannah Montana made the controversial quip in a Dreamland Pride Festival video on Sunday. She said, enjoy coming, and she was coming out of a closet when she did a little video. She said, enjoy coming out of the closet if this Pride is the time for you. Have an amazing Pride. Then she went and said, all right, I'm going back to get more pretzels and find JoJo Siwa and bring her back out of the closet. And people gagged. And then, of course, I'm sure it's these new generation faggots that had to jump on the comments with their highfalutin asses, acting like they understand what it's like to be part of the Levitical community, and wanted to windmill on Miley Cyrus, who was a part of our community, and said, hello, bisexuality is a thing. And I would think Miley would know that because, according to Miley, she's also bisexual. So nobody's out here trying to act like that bisexuality doesn't exist, or that or that bi erasure is apparent, which we know that it is. But I thought it was funny because quiet as we're not gonna sit up in here and act like that y'all don't believe this whole JoJo Siwa thing is a stunt, and I'm one of them. I truly believe do I think that JoJo Siwa is full on Melissa Etheridge, Ellen DeGeneres, Jodie Foster, Rosie O'Donnell, Katy Lang, Gold Star carrying homosexual? No, I do believe that there might be some fluidity up in her, but I feel like this whole situation with her and Celebrity Big Brother and this dude that she hooking up with, Chris, whatever the hell his goddamn name is, I don't even care enough to find out the last name. And I'm sure it's in this headline. Let me look, because I'm not even looking. Yeah, Chris Hughes, whatever. I don't believe that their relationship is real. And I've been seeing the pictures of y'all taking pictures of y'all in the bed and shit. That's about as uncomfortable of a look as seeing that first episode of And Just Like That, when we see Miranda in bed with Rosie O'Donnell. That was something I wish I could throw bleach on my eyeballs to take out. So if y'all sitting here thinking like we supposed to believe this relationship between her and Chris Hughes, I'm sorry, I don't believe it. I think it's some BS. And I thought it was funny when Miley said, now, if y'all want to sit up here and believe all of that other mess, that's on you. But I don't. So another person said, I adore Miley, but this isn't okay. JoJo never went back into the closet. She's still queer. Again, JoJo being with Chris doesn't erase or change her attraction to women. Why can't people just make a goddamn joke without y'all always trying to just yuck somebody damn yum? It was a joke. Relax. Take the sticks out y'all ass. I swear this new generation gonna make me find the nearest cliff and jump. So now rest for Cyrus and Siwa have yet to respond to page 6's request for comment. As y'all know, Siwa came out in 2021, said, I still don't know what I am. It's like I want to figure it out. I always say gay because it kind of covers it, or queer because I think the key word is cool. Girl, let's not a bit, oh, the key word is cool. Like, say, this is what I think rubs people the wrong way. You looking at, I feel like all this queerness, this exploration, it's like, yeah, we're all here for people just to explore their queerness, because I do feel like gender, sexual orientation, it's not black and white. I do feel like there might be a bit of fluidity in all of us. There's some people that just like, you know what, I am a gold-carrying homosexual. I'm not interested in getting with someone of the opposite sex, and that is your prerogative. That is totally okay if that's where you are with it. But it is everything about JoJo Siwa feels like she's putting on a performance. It feels fake. It feels disingenuous. And I think that's where people are coming at it from. So whether Miley meant it as that, I can't speak for her, but I'm talking about perception. And the perception of it to me feels like JoJo Siwa using this to keep her ass in the damn press. Because quiet as it's kept, nobody's talking about her tight ass music. You wanna see me do the dance? You know, remember when she did that foolishness? Like, just like everything about her just is cringe. And it's no shade. I'm just talking about, it's just perception. I don't shade nothing. Well, I shade plenty. I was about to say, I don't shade nobody. That's a damn lie. I shade all the damn time. But it's just the perception of it all. And to me, it just comes across as disingenuous and fake. So yeah, she's been in relationships we've seen with a lot of women. It's been Kylie Prude, Katie Mills, Avery Cyrus, is she related to Miley? Dakayla Wilson, and recently Kath Ebbs, who she was in a relationship with while she was on Celebrity Big Brother. And then she, what was his name? Mickey Rourke was trying to get all up in that, which was cringe. And so I promise you, I'm gonna be a full-on lesbian, even if you wasn't on the show. You know, when she got that smoker's voice. Sounding like Marge Simpson's sister. And then, then all of a sudden, Mickey's kicked out the show. Then all of a sudden she got this revelation that she liked Venus. So it's just the timing of it all. It's kind of like people are side-eyeing it. So if y'all want to sit up here with your delusions of grandeur and try to go up in here and windmill on Miley because y'all want a goddamn moment on Twitter, then have at it. But I would have pulled up that picture, but I don't want y'all to have to burn out y'all eyes like I would have to about the JoJo Siwa in bed with Chris, who I would not be surprised if he likes, a little peen. But I don't want to sit up here trying to pull other people out the closet until they ready. So I say all this to say, what do you guys think of this story? Do y'all think that people are reaching in regards to the whole Miley Cyrus situation? How they're reacting to what the little joke that she made at Pride? I feel like y'all just reaching, it's like, calm down. Calmate. So let me know what you guys think of this story in the comments down below. Exactly, Cleveland. People need to chill. Not gag tub it. He said JoJo is a messy person, period. Maybe her relationship is real. I doubt it, but I also believe she leaned into her queerness because she thought, yeah, that's what it feels like to me. It feels like, okay, if you want to explore your sexuality, your gender identity, all this stuff, that's great. But it just feels like you using this as a way to remain relevant. And to me, being a part of the LGBTQIA plus community, yes, it is a part of who we are, but it's not all of who we are. And it's not something that you could just play around with, because it's the one thing that's getting your ass attention, because nobody cares about all your little other projects, but you out here playing around in this relationship is giving you some sense of relevance. Just saw in our group chat, Janice tickets. Child, let me tell you, there's another story that's coming out that the way they put it was so shady, that Beyonce is giving away tickets to needy families. They say because that's the only way you getting people to show up to the Cowboy Carter tour. Their words, not mine. And you say, yeah, and it said there's more controversy over the age gap. Oh yeah, it's also she's relatively young. She's like in her early 20s and he's in his 30s. So it's like you already figured out who the hell you are. She's still on this whole journey of trying to figure herself out. But we know how JoJo works. After 3 months, she's gonna move on to the next thing. She's in her honeymoon phase. Exactly, and that was the comparisons that we made. I know you wasn't here earlier, but that was kind of like the conversation that we was alluding to with Demi Lovato, where I think Onyx mentioned that. And yeah, so it's like it's giving very much Demi Lovato, or as Onyx came up with, Demi Lovato 2.0. Chris downgraded from Jesse of I don't know, he was with Miss Jessie got twins now, don't she? He said, but that's not a good person when you've had Jade, Leanne, or Pep. Don't tell me he done hunched all the girls. Is that what you're implying? That he did every member of Little Mix? Or are you saying that that's a pretty much a downgrade when it's like he could have got with a Jade, a Leanne, or a Perry? You got with Miss, I don't know what race I am, but I like to spray tan and look real blacker than my actual ethnicity. Anyway. Oh, I feel like this episode is messy today. I feel like we're messier than usual. I never had any attraction to the tough fish. I had my first crush on a guy in 4th grade. I think we've all had, well, I was relatively young when I had my crushes up too. But let's move on, y'all, since we already in the trans conversation, and let's talk about Eddie Murphy and Mel B, because their child Angel has come out as transgender. I believe we have mentioned this in conversation in the past when we were talking about other trans people or celebrities and their trans children coming out, but now it has officially been confirmed. And I'm sitting there like, y'all are mad late. Like, I could have sworn that we had this conversation, but I guess everybody wants to make it a conversation, so now it is a conversation. Excuse me. But yes, Eddie Murphy and Mel B's child Angel has come out as transgender, so congratulations to them. And their child was born in 2007 after they, parted ways. I did a Wendy Williams. I was in the middle talking and I'm. So Angel, who turned 18 in April, shared on her IG bio that he uses the pronoun him. Meanwhile, the Daily Mail reports that both Braun and Murphy have supported Angel's decision to publicly transition, saying it's a decision Angel made and Mel has been understanding. Likewise, Eddie, there was no big event to market. Angel just wanted it to be known that pronouns are now suitable, an unnamed source reportedly told the publication. Braun, who recently celebrated her 50th birthday, shared a series of tweets or photos of Angel. I think I have that too. Hold on. I hate when it don't want to open up. So now I'm seeing all these damn ads. Let me see if it comes up. Comes up. Yes. I got it. Shoes on my feet. I bought it. I was like, let me find the photo, because I was like, yeah, I can bring it up for y'all. Thank God I had the on the Instagram. She had that. But here's the thing. When it comes to Eddie Murphy and Mel B is sexually fluid. She's into women and men. So I could totally understand Mel B being understanding of her child coming out as trans. And Eddie Murphy, we know the history of Eddie Murphy and the trans. So yeah, that is Mel, and that is their child Angel. And she went on and said, "Happy birthday to my Angel. I cannot believe you're 18. You are so special and so bright and so talented. I couldn't be prouder of watching you grow and become a person you are, but you'll forever be my baby. Always be my baby. I hope you keep chasing your dreams and be kind to everyone around you like you always have been my angel. Love you always. Now, in the IG carousel, Braun shared photos of Angel as a baby and a selection of more recent photos of the pair together. Now, Braun, who is currently engaged to this lady stayed with a man. We be talking about Jennifer Lopez. Child, we need to check on Miss Mel B. Now, she's currently engaged to her hair specialist, Rory McPhee, once dubbed Murphy as the love of her life. He always will be, she said during an interview promoting her 2018 Brutally Honest. Well, now he with that white woman. The end of Braun and Murphy's relationship was high profile, with Murphy initially denying that he was the father of Angel. However, a paternity test, child, you should have got Maury on the line. It would have been for free. Later proved that he is indeed the father. Now, Angel is one of 3 of Braun's children, with the musician also being mum on Phoenix Brown, age 26, whom she had with her ex-husband Jimmy Gulzar, and younger Madison Brown, Belafonte, age 13, who she had with that abuser, allegedly, Stephen Belafonte. Well, look, she wrote it in the book, so those are her words. Murphy has 9 other children in addition to Angel. Now, Mel B also has been open about her experience of previously falling in love with a woman. This is me trying to do Wendy Williams with the woman, with the W's. It said, I've never really spoken about it before. So this book, I wanted to address it because a lot of people have misconstrued thing of how everything actually did happen. Now, Angel Braun is one of a number of celebrity children, as y'all know, who has come out as trans. There's been a lot of children in Hollywood, like Elon Musk has a trans child, Robert De Niro has a trans child, Dwayne Wade has a trans child. Like, it's like everywhere you look, there's a trans child coming out. Or these family, celebrities. So shout out to y'all. Now, so Erin De Niro, that's the child's name. So Erin said that her father has been supportive and offered to accompany her to her hormone replacement therapy appointments. I love Robert De Niro. He's so progressive. He was loving on Black women long before it became like a chic thing. We've seen that play out in his directorial debut. I think he's only directed one movie, A Bronx Tale. I love that freaking movie. I was like, yeah, he had to show that Lilo Brancato's Calogero was in love with a Black woman, played by Terrell Hicks. And shout out, sidebar, speaking of, where is Lilo Brancato? We already know he went to jail for unaliving somebody. But where has Lilo Brancato been? We haven't seen him in a long time. And they said that, wow, she has a ton of piercings already. You're using the wrong pronouns for Angel. But I'm sitting there like, I don't think, I guess, I'm not going to windmill on the people in the comments too hard because people are not putting in the pronouns and all the other stuff. And she didn't even say whether or not what pronouns and stuff that they go by. She's using vague pronouns, and everybody's like, happy birthday to your daughter, all the other stuff. So it's like, yeah, this was 9 weeks ago before Angel has come out and publicly said that they are trans. So they go by he, him, and that's what I guess we will identify them by because that is what they want to be identified by. So I definitely want to hear from y'all. What do you guys think of this story regarding Angel coming out as, the latest celebrity child to come out as transgender? And shout out to you, Eddie, and Mel B. So let me know what you guys think of this story in the comments down below. Yeah, 22 years old, hunching somebody in their well, look, I can't talk because I was that young messing around with older people too. So it was like my first crush was in the 5th grade. You whore. I'm just playing. I dated 2 girls in 4th grade. I had my first real crush on a guy in the 6th grade. Oh, come on. Delayed sexual attraction to the same gender. It's a Lilo Brancato is doing his thing. I follow him on Instagram. Okay. But I always had a thing for Mr. Calogero. Lilo Brancato was like the cutest Italian. I do like my growing up in New York City, particularly Brooklyn. I used to have a thing for the Italian boys. And now it's like being in when I told you my proximity to like growing up and being close to living close to Long Island and stuff. When I would talk about like when Jersey Shore and all the other stuff came out, it was like I knew those types. I knew the Ronnies, I knew the Vinnies, and I knew the Paulie D's. I grew up around all of that. So It's a wonder if Angel will pursue a music career. That is a good question. Because we know that Jamie Foxx's daughter, with all that big hair that she had, that he was talking about, he put on blast about she was high behind all the hair when he gave his speech last night at the BET Awards, talking about she was playing her guitar and stuff while he was in his coma to help him come out of that. And we already know, like, music is something, I mean, especially if you saw the Sinners, the power of music and what that does to people. So God forbid, if I was in any kind of a situation where I ended up in a coma, it's like, yes, if you want me to come out of coming out of the dark, if you want me to come out of that, play the music. Not specifically Gloria Estefan, but you're gonna play some music. All right, y'all. So how many more topics we got to the end of the show? I believe we have 4 topics left. Yeah, we got some drag race tea that we're about to get into. So before we get to those topics, if you can please do me a solid. If you have not already, hit that like button. If you are new to the channel, hit that subscribe button. And also be sure to smash the notification bell so that way you know when we go live with a brand new episode of Chris Avalon Unfiltered. After the live, I definitely will be putting in timestamps so that way for those who come in and watch the playback, you could just follow along with the topics we have at hand instead of sitting through all the banter that we do during the live feed. Please and thank you. So now without further ado, let's get into our first drag race topic. And I want to give y'all an update on Miss Adore Delano. So apparently she was performing at a Pride event in Milwaukee. And while she was performing, the 27 Club singer fell backwards off the stage and hit the floor. Now, I do have the clip. Shout out to Reddit. So we'll go over that real quick so that way y'all can see it. I'm not going to play the music, but I'm going to play it for y'all where you can see what had happened. There she is. She hit the floor. And then you could probably see her where she's like, she fell down for a minute. And the children are gagging. She's in pain. Let's rewind that back. Reverse. Reverse. She pulled down the siding. And you see the cord. I was like, ooh, girl, I know that was painful. Okay, so now it's playing back again. She is hurt. That was not cute or whatever. I know that she has got to be in an incessant amount of pain. Then you see one of the guys come over and helps her up. I know she's got to be embarrassed because that would be me too. And it's like, when you hitting that concrete, bitch, I know that's got to hurt even more. So the cameraman is on her. She got back to singing like the trooper she is, got on the shoulders of that the guy. I don't know if he's a roadie or security. Got on her knees because she had to catch her breath and continued to sing. And it's like, yes, the children, everybody was living for it.
So let's talk
she got
about
up there and
the
performed.
fall that happened at Milwaukee Pride Fest a couple of days ago. I know it's all over the internet. People have been asking me if I'm okay, if I'm bruised up. The answer is yes, I am okay, and yes, I am bruised up. I hit my head a little bit. I took blows to the ribs. The majority of the pain was in my ribs. The problem with that is I'm a live singer. I did lay there for a second because I had to catch my breath. I had the wind knocked out of me. I did kind of hit my head a little bit. I do owe it to sobriety, to be honest, because I feel like if I was still drinking and this happened, I probably would have like knocked out or just like blacked out or something. But I'm a professional. She's a vet. She will get up. She will finish her 30-minute set and come back in an hour and give you a second set. I bruised my rib. Like, let's just call it for what it is. But yeah, just to answer your questions, I am fine. Thank you guys for being concerned. This is like my first actual fall off of a big stage like that. I didn't see the stage end. I wasn't paying attention to how narrow it was. It was a T stage, so it happened to the best of us. It was pretty gnarly, but I survived.
I will survive. I was sitting there and thinking like, oh my God, I gotta pull up the situation. But I was like, oh wait, I totally forgot that that she added the TikTok was in that Reddit video. But I was giving y'all commentary in between. But anyway, nevertheless, I'm glad that she's okay. And we are here for Adore. I want to see if there was anything else that was added to that. But yeah, I'm glad that it was like, you know what? She said, I'm a professional. That I'm glad that I was sober because she said, like, if I was sober, I would have, I mean, if I was drunk, I probably would have passed out. So it was like, yeah, you could jump right up, and I know that had to be painful. So it's just like, well, you're using, your lungs and all other stuff, and then you try to suck in air while you're singing. Oh, I could definitely tell, like, the pain that she was feeling in them ribs being bruised. Would definitely take it would knock the wind out of you, and it's gotta, it's hard to sing when you're dealing with that pain, but she fought through it. She gave the fans, she didn't want to disappoint the fans. She gave them what they wanted. She was able to get there and perform and give y'all what y'all wanted to get. And, she's now recovering, and I'm hoping that, she's in good spirit. Well, according to her, she is in good spirits. So I'm glad that she's okay throughout all of this. So shout out to you, Adore, and hope to see you come back to Drag Race. Because we want you on there, sis. So I want to say, what do you guys think of this story regarding Adore Delano falling off stage, and all that good stuff? So glad to see that she's okay. I definitely want to hear from y'all. Let me know what your thoughts are on this story in the comments down below. Not you, Aura. Who told? She dragged the curtain. Okay. This was like, she needed something to help break the fall. I mean, it didn't help, but Adore uber high maintenance. Okay. She was looking good there too. Now, speaking of looking good, let's talk about Valentina. Excuse me, who is talking about, I think back in 2019, she did an interview with the Gay Times and said that she had no interest in competing on Drag Race because she sees drag as art and not a competition. But I'll say this, now what 6 years, makes, I guess is what we could say. It's been 6 years, so I guess you could, it's a lot of reflection and changing her mind. And now that she's come out as trans, and I guess now that she feels like she is a fully realized, fledged woman, and she has come into her own finally as a performer and all this other stuff, she's saying, she's interested in coming back on Drag Race. And I'm sure that a lot of the Valentina fans are here for it. So Valentina, who was famously dubbed fan favorite, because remember they tried to give her Miss Congeniality, but her cast members revolted in the reunion, so they remixed and changed the headline. It was like, she is fan favorite, and now that's what we're calling her. So and those were her season 9 queens that were calling her that. Now she said that she's matured. And now she's ready to come back and compete on the show. Now, the drag star who recently came out as trans as she celebrated her 34th birthday explained to Monet Exchange in a recent episode of The Pit Stop that she was ready for a comeback. Now, she and Monet were discussing episode 6 of RuPaul's Drag Race All-Stars 10 and the new All-Stars 10 format, which sees queens giving out a point to one of their competitors at the end of each challenge. Now, talking about the possibility of receiving 0 points, Valentina joked, even though on camera it said 0, in my mind, I'm like, it says I have more than everyone. I gave myself all the points already. She's in her delusional, I guess, fantasy. Now, she affirmed that if she were to go back to All Stars, she would feel comfortable being as shady as All Stars 10 competitor, Mistress Isabel Brooks, who has recently been called out by her castmates for her trickery and tomfoolery, saying, I've just matured a bit, just a little bit, before Monet questioned whether she would be up for making another All Stars appearance. She said, I would love the opportunity to go back. It's because you see, I have so much fun with the camera, she replied. Now, Valentina was beloved by Drag Race fandom during her original tenure on season 9 in 2017 before she was shockingly eliminated in 7th place because she didn't know the words to greedy. Because Ru asked her to take that damn mask off. She was like, I'd like to keep it on, please. And she was like, what part of taking that damn mask off do you not understand? Take that shit off. Until she finally took it off. And then, what happened. I was trying to remember where did I see the All Stars 11 rumored cast? Because I might actually bring that up in conversation. So, I don't think that she's on, Miss Valentina Shunakshi is in the upcoming season. But, hold on. But I do see like the rumored cast that is coming out. It's Akira Davenport. Sorry, I don't know if y'all want spoilers, but this is the rumored cast, so this is not official. But the season 11 girls, they had Akira C. Davenport, Dawn, Lucky Stars, Mystique Summers, Morphine Love Dion, and Morgan McMichaels. The other group of girls that they had, because I gotta find that one, is some of these girls have slimmed down and got new bodies, kind of like Mistress. But they have Asia O'Hara, Amethyst, Silky Nutmeg Ganache, who is slimmed down, and Cornbread Jete. We have Rose and Sugar Cane. So far that's 12 girls. But we don't have like that y'all need to add, y'all need to come up with if y'all gonna do 18 again, y'all gotta come up with 6 more queens. So those are the ones that are rumored to be coming out, unless y'all cutting it down and be like, no, we're not doing 18. We're just gonna do 12 girls this season. Well, we'll see how that all goes out. But in regards about, so according to that rumor list of girls for the next season of All Stars 11, Valentina's not on the list, but if she does end up on there, I would love to see her on All Stars 12. So I would definitely love to see Valentina back on the show. I like Valentina. I mean, yeah, she was a bit problematic back in the day based off of how like she was coming across and some of how messy some of her damn fandom was. I understand y'all are passionate and y'all go hard for the girls, but some of that underlying racism and the mean spiritedness and the bullying that y'all be doing on social media, the trolling, some of y'all take the fun. Y'all be some crumb snatchers. Y'all be taking the fun out of why we love Drag Race. I understand people are passionate and they love it, but sometimes y'all need to pull it back a little bit. But as I said before, I would love to see Valentina on the show, and hopefully, with her saying that on the pit stop, that we will see her in the not so distant future. So I say all this to say, what do you guys think of this story? Would you be excited to see Valentina on a future season of All Stars? If she doesn't make it on All Stars 11, how about season 12? So let me know what you guys think of this story, or on the other spinoffs, like the Versus the Worlds or one of those, Bob's favorite iterations of the franchise. So let me know what you guys think of this story in the comments down below. Or you said happy pride, happy prime. Yes, that's what we were talking about. Not Valentina Evangelista. That's what she should have called herself, okay? Because you look like Linda Evangelista, you're a model. She would be the second host to compete on a season if she does come back. I never got into her, but I did watch Drag Race Mexico until it became obvious who they were going to give the crown to. I never actually got around to watching Drag Race Mexico. Valentina is not ruined the cast list, but bracket 3 hasn't filmed yet, so they're still So it's like, I could definitely see like they'll hit her up and she'll probably say yes. I like Akira too, so we could definitely get her back on the show. Akira and Asia, because Asia definitely needs to redeem herself, especially the love in the sky. We are flying high. Take a look, read a book, a reading rainbow. Remember when she did that with them damn butterflies? They was like, girl, you was over here trying to give Miss Sasha Velour, and it was like, no, why did you use the butterflies? That was a mess. Crystal Method and Selena Esthetties are also rumored, but I'm as well, quiet as it's kept away. Selena been out here talking as of late, because she another one that slimmed down. The way she been talking, but that voice is still there. Points for you if y'all know where that line comes from. But it was like, Selena definitely could use it, because especially recently, remember she was talking about when we talked about on social, she did a social media post that that there's a lot of queens out here but not enough bookings, so she could probably use that. You said Valentina seemed like a mean girl, and as a Mexican, I never felt. Yeah, and I think that's what a lot of people were coming at her about, especially a lot of the girls on Drag Race was like, when it was a lot of the girls, particularly. Who is it? Like, oh my God, the one the one who just interviewed her. So yeah, there was a lot of girls and stuff on the show. Who was it that? No, there wasn't Monet Exchange. Who was the one that was on that season? Why is her name escaping me? The one that should have won but ended up winning All Stars. Shea Coulee. I knew it was gonna come to me, but Shea Coulee and all of them came out. Wasn't the Vixen on that season too? That season and the Elephant Queen. There was a lot of personalities on that season. Brooklyn Heights was on that show too. Oh, by the way, Macklemore's house. Oh, damn. Brooklyn probably has, but doesn't want to do it unless it's an all whole season. Yeah, I think she's happy that I think she's not gonna. Yeah, I don't see Brooklyn doing the show. I think she's happy doing Canada. That's what I was thinking about. I was thinking about Monet and Asia, but it was like I saw the kids were in the house and Nanny ran out for help. Kids was in Macklemore's house? We said Vixen was on season 10 with Monet and Asia. Yeah, season 9. That's the one that Valentina was on. Wasn't that? Wait, I keep forgetting. Season 9 was when Bob won, right? It'd be so many seasons. I'd be forgetting who's on what. So I'm like, child, this is a mess. What is going on? These kids out here bold and crazy. Look, y'all better be glad y'all not popping up at people, because I saw a video of like these kids that was in somebody's apartment building, was breaking in somebody's apartment, and this guy on the Ring camera said, they pulled a Sue Simmons. What the fuck do you think you doing? So, and then they broke the Ring cam. So it's like y'all gonna stumble up in the wrong house and somebody gonna pull out a shotgun, and you already know the rest of how this story gonna end. A mess. It says, okay, so it was the season about one. Sasha won season 9. Okay, somebody wants some. My seasons messed up. But anyway, let's move on, y'all. Because one season I'm not gonna mess up is the season that Alaska was on. So let's talk about her. Because apparently she's out here speaking on why she believes that Drag Race producers have not asked her to come back and compete on All Stars. And I'm glad she's confirming what I've been saying for the longest. And she said basically what I said, which is because she has a podcast with Willem. So she recently appeared on I told you, everybody got a damn podcast. Now, Kelly Mantle, shout out to her, has a podcast. And she said the reason why she feels that she does not feel that they will bring her back to do an all-winner season. But the way the last all-winner season was, do we really want another all-winner season? I kind of like the all-stars that we have now. But they said, if you didn't know, Season 7 of All Stars featured all winners from previous seasons, with Jinx Monsoon ultimately taking the title as Queen of All Queens, which I think a lot of people felt like that was kind of, even though I love me some Jinx, they felt like it was kind of like set up by production for her to win, kind of like when we had that queen from Canada came over and won a season. Anyway. So when asked by Kelly Mantle why she thought she wasn't asked to come back for the All Winners All-Star season, she said, they don't want to talk to me. Quote, I think it comes back to the fact that I have a podcast with Willem, because Willem is sort of very on the out with production company World of Wonder. Which is, for those we already know that she's her Race Chaser co-host, and she was on season 4, and she's kind of butted heads with, she spilled a lot of tea about World of Wonder, which has pissed them off, a lot of the production, and particularly she's gotten into it with RuPaul, particularly dealing with Matthew Anderson, where they got into an all-out, drag-out, cussing-out situation out in the street where they said, fuck you to each other and a whole bunch of... It was a mess. So, Ru does not like Willem. Willem don't like RuPaul, although Willem will give Ru her flowers when need be. She can be constructive. She can not like the bitch, but at the same time, and I say it with love, Ru, calling you a bitch, because this is how we talk. And you already know, you old school queen. You know how we talk. So, I like the fact that Willem can be practical in a lot of situations. That's just not, oh yeah, I may not like Ru for certain things and things I know about her, but when it comes to talking about Drag Race, I can be pragmatic and I can be very much, I can throw the shade when I need to throw the shade, and I can be nice when I need to be nice. But I know a lot of people be out here be going in on Willem and always trying to find a reason to be a hater because of some of the stuff that Willem does. Willem is somebody that likes to shake the table, and we do love it because, as a fan of Drag Race, I live for the mess. So keep it coming. Shit, it's good grist for my mill. what we were talking about on the show. So, and then, she was the first queen to ever be disqualified from the series due to breaking the rules. Now, she said, when we decided we wanted to do a podcast together, Theron, I think that's how you say their name, Smothers, who is a World of Wonder co-executive producer, was like, we're really disappointed that you're doing this podcast. He didn't say that to me. He said it to someone else, someone on my team, and I never really put two and two together until it was like ghosted and the door was closed. Now it's like a joke. The door is fully closed, but I would love to go back. So in a way, it's like, here's the thing. You may not like my show with Willem. However, no harm, no foul. Like, Willem is Willem. Willem is over there doing what Willem does. What Willem has got going on ain't got nothing to do with me. So I can't come on a show because y'all don't like this person. Like, to me, that's a level of childishness. It's petty. It's stupid. And shout out to, Alaska, who I've interviewed in the past, went on her season. And then we ran into each other at Drag the Musical, where if y'all go on my social media, you see our picture together. So shout out to Alaska. And if they don't want to bring you on the show, that's their loss. Like, you are very successful in your own right. Like, you have a lot of stuff still going on. You don't really need, I know you're probably just going to go on kind of like your approach to this show is similar to like how Mistress approaches the show. I have so many other businesses, so many things going on, but I want to go on Drag Race because it'll be fun. And I feel like if these people behind the scenes are taking this a little too seriously and being petty about it, then yeah, that's your loss. If the fans want to, but I'm sure the fans would love to see Alaska back on their TV screens, competing on Drag Race, because we love our older queens. These other girls got to contrive drama. The girls back in the day knew how to make good TV. So, similar how we got my girl Nicole Page Brooks had to remind you hoes that I am the one. I am one of one. All that good stuff, as she said, and dropping home one-liners and trolling Mistress. We live for the older queens, and we want to be entertained by them. So I'm not calling Alaska old. She's 40, but she's a couple of years younger than me. But we definitely want to see her back on our screen. So shout out to you, Alaska. And it's sad that, and I truly believe that would be the reason. But that's pretty much sucks that they would not want her to come back on the show because of that. That I got to sit up here and kiss y'all ass to get back on TV. I'll make my own damn TV where I'm at. That's the way I would look at it. So I definitely want to hear from y'all. What do you guys think of this story? Are you sad to hear? And do you believe that, Alaska would be not a part of the franchise because them petty ass producers over there are feeling a way about her affiliation with Willem? It's like, and if you watch the show, Alaska gives constructive criticism, but she's not out here trolling and she plays, it's like good cop, bad cop. Or good queen, bad queen, if you want to call it that. It's like Willem is the one that shakes the table. Alaska is the one who's more practical. She's like the good cop in the whole situation. So she don't be saying nothing out here rude or nasty or going in and letting half. It's like Willem is like, I ain't got nothing to lose. Them people ain't gonna mess with me, so I'm gonna just do me. And so I just don't understand whether, I guess they look at it as like guilty by association. But so to me, it's just petty and childish, and it's y'all laws. Wow. So let me know what you guys think of this story in the comments down below. Right. You said, I watched Alaska's interview with Kelly Mansell yesterday and said it's because she's working with Willem. It was obvious. Jinx and Jimbo. Yeah, I don't know why I can never remember that damn drag clown's name. Jimbo. Jimbo definitely, it was just like, it's so obvious I'm going to make her win, their season. And I was just like, okay, whatever. Because she couldn't hack it over there in Canada. So y'all had to set up the season. It's kind of like with that horrible ass Drag Race show where y'all pretty much set it up for Alyssa Edwards to win. Everyone thought Roxy was gonna, yeah, we all thought it. And I was actually looking at it, it's like, yeah, this was the first time, in my opinion, that I felt like Roxy Andrews, for once, stood on her own without Alaska talks, helping her carry her to the end. And she proved that she could be that, she is that bitch. And I'm that bitch. I'm that bitch. She proved it's always a song that I can find a way to incorporate it without saying right. So to me, it proved like she was that girl. She was really gonna show up and show out, and she proved herself. And so we saw like that would have been legitimate when then y'all did what y'all did. It's like, really? And don't get me wrong, it was like, all the queens were good on that season. But no, that was Roxy's season to win. I thought Roxy won All Stars 9 too. She won so many lip syncs and she did a better job throughout the season. Exactly. So it was like, are y'all not watching what the hell we watching? Alaska won everyone's favorite season of the show, so it would be disappointing if they let Guilty by Association stop her from competing. Yeah. What ruined All Stars 2 for me was Roxy being constantly said, yeah, exactly. I love me some Alaska, but I do question some of her associations, namely with Sharon Needles, Birds of a Feather, and all that jazz. Well, look, they ain't been together for years, right? But yeah, I could have. Alaska would kick up the routines. Okay. But according to them, it seemed like the ratings is doing what needs to be done anyway. There were too many recent winners on the first All Stars. Only 2 of them weren't crowned in the last 4 years. I wouldn't mind seeing Jada compete again. Yeah, I like Jada. Look over there. Or maybe I just don't like the idea of an all-winning season. Oh my God, there was a clip that I wanted to show y'all about with Alaska because she did post on her TikTok. She said pride will always be a riot. And basically said, like, yeah, human beings are not illegal. She was going in on the Trump administration and all that good stuff. I forgot to bring that damn clip up for y'all. But speaking of which, since we're here, I don't know if y'all saw it, but let's bring up the clip. Please hold.
ICE is a terrorist organization. Human beings are not illegal. Due process is part of the fucking fabric of this country. It is necessary. Also, treating people like fucking human beings is not fucking negotiable. And you know what, we're at Pride, but I want just to have a reminder that Pride is a fucking party, but Pride is also a fucking riot, okay?
I keep telling y'all.
Our ability to get together like this as a community, to stand in one place all together is very powerful, especially in 2025. So let's keep exercising that power. ICE is a terrorist organization. Human beings are not illegal. Due process is part of the fucking fabric of this country. It is necessary. Also, treating people like fucking human beings is not fucking negotiable. And you know what, we're at Pride, but I want just to have a reminder that Pride is a fucking party, but Pride is also a fucking riot, okay? Our ability to get together like this as a community, to stand in one place all together is very powerful, especially in 2025. So let's keep exercising that power. ICE!
As she said. So yeah, I want to play that again. So that way people get in their head. It's like, yeah, they are a terrorist organization. Because if y'all was really about that, like, why y'all got y'all faces covered? Is it because that y'all know what y'all out here doing is wrong and you don't want people to retaliate on you and your families for you taking their kids away and separating parents from their children and all this other stuff? So yeah, there was some people in the comments that was like, thank you for using your voice to stand up for us Latinos. Well, we only standing up for the ones that didn't vote for Trump. I will vote for Donald Trump. And he said drag queens are always at the forefront for change. Yes, they are, because it was like, look, when I tell y'all, with the people's out there that was throwing that brick, and when there was that whole Stonewall riot, it was faggots, the ones that were clocked, trans women, and drag queens. They were the ones that was out there for 7 whole days, and not a word from you, throwing bricks and fighting up in them damn streets. And yes, Like somebody else thought, nobody died. But it was a riot. Because they were tired of the homosexuals was tired of being rounded up and taken to prison for being who they were. And so yeah, so when people and they said no wonder they want to ban these shows, the same being called out are the same ones who want this silence. And it's like, you know what? We're always gonna be the ones that have to be at the forefront fighting for our rights and all other stuff. And we're not illegal. Human beings are not illegal, especially when you on stolen land trying to act like you own this shit. It's like, no, first of all, this land belongs to the Native Americans that was stolen by the colonizers. So if we want to get into history lessons, we could do that on Beyonce's internet. You said there were too many recent. Oh yeah, I read that one already. You read that one too. You said sorry, not sorry, but Cubans are not about. Okay, that's the carne asada. I will vote for Donald Trump. I wish I had that damn video so we could play it up here on the show, because that song has been in my head all day. Plus, Jodeci been in my head all day too. And I finally got that damn I will vote for Donald Trump song out until I was watching Fag Talk earlier and they played that damn bit. I said, God damn, TS. All right, y'all. So let's move on to our final topic. Let's get into this tea. So Mistress Isabel Brooks, you already know she's been pretty polarizing, especially, but with all the stunts and shenanigans that she's been pulling on the second bracket of Drag Race All Stars 10. But what we're not going to do on Beyonce and Blue Ivy's internet is act like that she ain't make no good damn TV. So good, bad, or indifferent, Mistress did her big one, to the point that she pissed off a lot of people on the show. We did the whole recap situation, regarding the episode and how Kerry Colby and Tina Burner and it was a bunch of others did interviews with Entertainment Weekly, this, that, and the other. So now Kerry Colby recently appeared on Mistress Isabel Brooks' YouTube channel, and Kerry also was on Roscoe's viewing party on Monday with Willem. But she also appeared, like I said, she appeared on Mistress's show on YouTube, and they talked about how the fact that, because there was a feud or whatever, of, the feud rumors and all other stuff, that they didn't talk for a while. So, so they performed the Rue School Star Booty the Rebooty and the Wild Wild West Runway category. Rue declared Jordan and Lydia Butthole Collins the top two. And then, Mistress came in third. So she is a part of the top three that have moved on to the semifinals. So they said Colby Burner and the two Brooks were asked to award the MVQ points live on stage. Nicole and Burner didn't give they gave theirs to Colby, who gave hers to Burner, having promised it to Mistress. But then Mistress was up there saying that Kerry was a fake ass bitch who was not going, if I would have known that she was not going to give me her point, then I gave my point to Lydia, which I was like, girl, you never had any intention of giving Kerry your point, because y'all have to write down who y'all giving y'all stuff to. I was like, in the middle of Kerry Colby giving her point away, you did not have that was not a point for you to erase what you wrote on that mirror in the lipstick and reveal that this is only giving my point to. You already had that locked in, unless a little birdie told you, oh, Kerry Colby is giving her point to so-and-so, and you try to get ahead of it, because it felt like it was stunt show shenanigans in production. That was probably in your ear, whatever the case is, because I'm like, me thinking about it, I was like, how would you even know who Kerry was giving her point to? Unless, like I said, from the whole beginning, you had no intention of giving your point to Kerry anyway. But Kerry was in the right as well, because Kerry was like, you burned me the first time. I don't trust you. And if you're going to sit up here and say that you making promises, and you're not giving me what I need to be given, if I'm going to reference Keely from 3OW, you wasn't going to give me the point anyway. So yeah, bitch, I am fake. I'm fake to you. So you're not getting what you're going to get. So yeah, these two went and spoke on her YouTube channel. So it dropped on Monday, which was yesterday. They sat down and talked about the tea. Now, the pair appeared to be on good terms, judging by the jovial nature of the video, but Mistress did confirm Kerry and her did not talk for a while. Yeah, they shot this last year, so that was enough time for them to be like, I'm in my feelings. I don't want to talk to you. I don't have nothing to do with you. So therefore, there's going to be drama conflama. So I totally agree. Was like, yeah, we're not going to talk. But back when you watching the show and you're having to relive it after living it in real time, and then the fandom is saying what they saying. So yeah, there's going to be that situation, and it's like, I'm gonna call this girl up. There's an opportunity for us to get on YouTube and just talk it out, work it out, and let bygones be bygones. Because the fandom gets so wrapped up in the drama of it all. And I guess based off of how Mistress has been dealing with all this, she has a pretty thick skin. So it was good that she was able to come to her conclusion and feel the way that she felt about the situation. But they asked if a point was stolen. Colby and Mistress had stolen the point of the game had flipped on its head and effed I. That don't make sense. They said and flipped on the head and fucked I. I am still so gagged. The two then shared that they eventually had gone a long convo about at Mickey's in West Hollywood. I've been to that Mickey's, by the way, where they went. Oh, first of all, I think that's the only Mickey's is in West Hollywood. I'm thinking of Hamburger Mary's because there's more than one. Where they went over what Colby described as Mistress's fierce gameplay. Colby was also able to admit that she was a fan of Mistress and still is. See, this is me reading people's articles, Pink News, and y'all not doing corrections in what y'all be writing before y'all hit send. So now, Mistress then told EW in a separate interview that Kerry went home and told Sasha a bunch of lies, and Sasha got upset with me. She also confirmed that she and Sasha had blocked each other. So now, after all this has come out, I do wonder if Mistress and Sasha will unblock each other, or if Sasha's interested in having a conversation with Mistress. But I guess we won't know that until these two queens actually end up in a gig together. But then knowing how the situation is, Sasha Colby is on a whole nother plane, and Sasha Colby is not going to be doing no type of gig with Mistress. But if that day does come, then I guess we'll revisit this conversation once we cross that bridge. So I say all this to say, what do you guys think of this story in regards of, looks like Kerry Colby and Mistress Isabel Brooks are, good Judies again. Bygones have been made bygones. And in the words of Mary J. Blige, there is no more drama in their life. So let me know what you guys think of this story in the comments down below. He said, how can these ICE agents go home to their families knowing that they're okay? Well, that's because they feel like it doesn't affect them. And he said, as somebody living next to, excuse me, to a Latino with a white child, of course, here we go. That close proximity to whiteness. I can tell you easily, they stroke each other's ego all day and blame society and never take responsibility. Absolutely. Mistress said in a video that with Kerry that she wrote her name at first, but then erased it last minute. That's what I was saying. Like, sitting in the milk ain't clean. That's why I was like, wait, because I was thinking that too. Yeah, I didn't get to watch the episode. I've been so behind on a lot of things. Like I told you, I had to try to catch on real quick when I was watching Fag Talker that came out earlier. And then the BET Awards, that was like 3+ hours. So, yeah. That's why I was like, that don't make no sense. So I'm thinking there was some tomfoolery, there was some sorcery, there was some rigomoris, all of that. That doesn't make sense. So it's like, if it's lipstick on a mirror, how does it not look smudged unless there was a take two in a situation, production told her what was going on, and to make it good TV, because it is produced, that they were like, oh, well, for dramatic purposes, we're going to have you put this in, because I was like, wait a minute. Now you say that, yeah, it was good for TV and it was entertaining with the shenanigans and the sons and the shows, but it doesn't make sense with the narrative. So I'm starting to think that you were put on game, and then they let you put Lydia's name on the situation, because I think you were going to give that point. So we're just like, y'all producing this damn show too. And I think that is the overall complaint that a lot of the Drag Race fans have. Not take it off my shirt. First of all, this is not this is YouTube. It's like, what is going on? I was like, y'all tell me to take my damn shirt off on live TV or on live on the YouTube. All right, y'all. So we're at the end of today's show. I want to thank you all for tuning in to the latest episode of Chris Avalon Unfiltered. If you have not already, please hit that like button. If you are new to the channel, hit that subscribe button, and also be sure to smash the notification bell so that way you know when we go live with a brand new episode of Chris Avalon Unfiltered. I'll be on tomorrow with a brand new episode of celebrity news, gossip, and all the mess will be included. I want to thank you all for tuning in, who continuously, those of y'all that support the show, that love being up in here with all the mess and all the drama, conflama, and this, that, and the other. I definitely love and appreciate all of y'all that come in and spend all the time, you know, the regulars and the newbies that come in into the live and those who watch the playback. So yeah, love you all for watching. Thank you all for tuning in. Until next time, ciao, darlings.